Time for a bath, time for bath, time for a bath, and time for bath. Time for a bath, time for bath, time for a bath, and time for bath.
I wish my refund hurry up so I can have a taxitude.
Time for a bath, time for bath, time for a bath, and time for bath.
I'ma be like, let me get 20 on pump 3.
Time for a bath, time for bath, time for a bath, and time for bath.
Matter of fact, make it 25, and yes, I would like to donate to the March of Dimes, so ring me up that Coke and candy bar 2 for $2.22 deal where $1 goes to March 2. Oh, and ring these Skittles up for my kid too. And when the cashier tells me to have a nice day, I'm gonna be like, no ma'am, you have a blessed day, sugar.
Time for a bath, time for bath, time for a bath, and time for bath.
Pull down my shades like Kim Kardashian, smile like Gabrielle Union.
Time for a bath, time for bath, time for a bath, and time for bath.
Flip my bundles like Nicki Minaj and queen out the door like Beyonce.
Time for a bath, time for bath, time for a bath, and time for bath.
Goofy face, goofy face, goofy face, heart, 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 muscle, muscle, muscle.
Time for a bath, time for bath, time for a bath, and time for bath.
Sassy black girl, sassy black girl, sassy black girl, kiss, kiss, kiss. Hashtag so what, hashtag I ain't shame, hashtag my money, hashtag call me taxitude, honey.
Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast!
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Hello. This is your Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan program. We hope that you will find our presentation precise, joke heavy, and just right. Thanks.
Welcome to the Friday free show of A Mediocre Time.
Hey! Yes! It is another A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I'm Dan.
I'm Tom. Our guest today.
It's a big get.
First time on the Friday Free Show
Yeah,
with us.
this is a big get.
Rauce Padgett.
Hey!
How you doing, Rauce?
Hey! Hold on, where's my... Okay, hold on.
Yeah, wait, alarm.
Oh, no, wait. Hold on. I got... Yeah!
With the epic music, it's still
works.
happening.
Of
It
course,
still works.
Ross from Good Sauce with Ross and Joel.
Yeah, man.
Podcast, and also airs every Wednesday night at 8 on Real Radio 104.1.
Yes, sir.
And huge
How's
social
Joel?
media.
How's Joel?
Joel is good. He's in the
doing
middle of the ocean right now.
Oh, my God. We need to save him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, no boat whatsoever, but he has a cool little gig working on cruise ships that he helps like direct a show and all of that.
Oh,
so
wow.
He's a cruise director?
he is a cruise director. Yeah, I guess that's the best way to describe it.
No. I think he directs a show that would be on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
Well, that's the same thing.
No, it's not, because the cruise director is directing all the wacky games.
Yeah, there
Right.
is a difference there because then, like, he's not going like bingo's at 8. You know, like he's
Oh,
not setting the schedule. He's just directing a show that's on
But
a
he
cruise
sort of
ship.
does look like a cruise director because he's got the. Does he still have the shaved head, kind of like?
Oh,
the,
yeah. Oh, yeah. And
he's
he's
got that slick look.
That
you know?
cool director vibes. That's another. I'll flex on my. I don't even want to call him a co-host because it's a partner, one of my best friends.
I'll never say that about Tom.
But I got the most talented person who, in my opinion, in Central Florida, and I put a mic in front of his face. He went to Cal Arts. Like
He went to art school?
He went to art school. He is one of the best actors I've ever seen. He's also just one of the funniest people. And then that's how we kind of hit it off. And then we started making things together, and then they started to hit. So, like, I don't know. I love my guy. I love Joel. I love Joel Warren.
Let's talk about the I4 eyesore video that you did. Was that something you did in conjunction with Joel, or was that a Rauce P only joint?
So the first couple videos that I made that hit here in Orlando, which was all the Wilson fluke, that I made up this character that was saying that I'm the reason why everything sucks in Orlando.
That's when I fell in love with you, by the way.
Right?
I love wacky names.
Yeah, yeah.
And he hates wacky names.
Wilson Fluke.
Wilson Fluke. Like, I like to get people on the line, and then they're like, don't use my real name. And I'll be like, okay, well, your name is Runch Flargy. I like wild, just wild names.
Because names are, if to me, I'm always trying to fit a joke in somewhere. And if you look, a lot of the names and everything that I've ever helped produce and write and make usually has a funny name. If Orlando was a movie, the main character in that movie trailer, his name is Conroy Kirkman.
Okay.
It's a joke opportunity.
Not everything has to be a joke.
I like everything a joke. You know it. Like, my wife has been telling me that a lot. I make everything a joke.
That's my cup of tea. Yeah. I enjoy when we slam pack something with a lot of jokes. I don't know. That's how I like to operate. But Joel is. I made those Wilson Fluke videos, and I was like, man, they are hitting. How do I make these even better? And then I started talking to Joel. So the first 3 videos were just me, and then everything from those 3, post those 3 videos, then became like If Orlando Was a Movie, Baby Boomer versus Millennial. Those are now being written in a room, as we like to call it, Jokes and Smokes.
I like that. A couple of names that I made up that the listeners are reminding me. Fluffy Pancakio was a person I made up. Then my favorite is Billy Andy.
The last name.
That's a great name. The first name, last name is...
Yeah. We had to write
Steve
a character.
Hamagutney was another one I made
I'm
up.
a big fan of the Slambone Fagarelli.
Slambone
What was that?
We had a listener that called. Was it a listener that called in and said his name was Slambone Fagarelli? Yeah. And we're like, well, that's the best name we've ever heard. Slambone Fagarelli.
I recently said this on the pod. I knew a guy in middle school, or in elementary school. His name was Billy Trombone. Like,
really?
That never left me. That his name
Billy
was
Trombone.
It was either Billy Trombone, and that's how he introduced himself, or it was like Trombone, and he was just saying it wrong. But I knew
Billy Trombone's worse.
I shouldn't be first and last naming these people. If I knew Mitch. I knew a Mitch Manlove in high school.
Whoa.
Oh, brutal.
That's a good one.
I learned that you could say people's first and last name whenever you want.
Yeah, I've been doing it all week,
matter.
and it's making Tom real mad.
I used to have a old manager at Champs named Forrest Stump.
Yeah.
Real name.
Every time I tell that joke on the show, one of his friends gets back to him.
They're like, he's still
Tom,
doing it.
Yeah. Tom mentioned you again.
Yeah,
it's
he's
been
a general
20 years.
manager for Champs. Man, really worked his way up.
25 years.
I love names. I love the conversation of names. Okay, I'll hot take here.
Yeah, do it.
One of my favorite names is attached to one of the worst people of all time. It is a cornerstone memory. When I first heard this person's name, I was like, ooh, that's fun. What did they do? Uh-oh.
Adolph Jones.
You're not exactly Benito Mussolini.
Oh, really?
Is such a fun name.
It's a great name.
It sounds delicious. It sounds like it could be in a cream sauce.
Yeah.
Benito Mussolini.
Yeah. Look him up being hung by his over the bridge.
Yeah, he's not a good person.
Not a good man.
But man, when I just remember
and that vibe of person, I don't know if you know this, that vibe of person is back, baby.
Yeah.
They're out there.
This is how dumb.
I didn't think they were.
This is how dumb I've been my entire life. Every time someone says Mussolini, I think of an Italian moose.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I love you. That's why you're my business partner.
A cartoon.
Because that's the correct answer for me.
My guy went to Cal Arts.
Yeah,
he does that.
Yeah, he's like an Italian moose. He's got like a tiny mustache.
I don't know what made me think of this, but you just talked about trained entertainers and artists.
Yeah.
And you were in radio for a long time. In radio, it's weird that most people in radio have no classic entertainment training
No.
or artistic or theater?
They give the keys to the monkeys, right? They're like, here you go.
It's like, what'd you do before this? Like car sales.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that, like, my entire radio career, I thought that everyone I worked for, I was smarter than.
Yeah.
No, but
I can say that now. I think I can say that now. I have a fake hip, so I can say that. Every person I worked with or for at Real Radio, I looked at them and I'm like,
come on.
I should be the boss.
No, it's just, why are there more like trained artists in radio?
So
like, in the entertainment.
I think I have a
Because it
good,
requires no training.
I have a good answer for that. There are a couple answers for that. First of all, I don't think I would want it any other way, the way that it is right now. Like, I wouldn't want a trained actor. I know a lot of actors. And I will once again flex on Joel Warren being different than the stereotypical actor.
Yeah.
Actors on a podcast, they're just going to be talking about, I don't know, what I want out of a radio personality and what I think is like successful is when they can be authentic. Actors are the last people who are comfortable, at least in my experience, when they are thoroughbred actors, they might not be the most comfortable in their own skin. That's why they are actors. And they spent so much time as somebody else that all of a sudden when you tell an actor, like, no, talk to me about your day. Talk to me about your beliefs, your thoughts, your concrete, what's your creed?
I have found police officers and actors to be very abusive.
But can't they just
that's a joke. I'm joking around.
That's just that's a possible hot take. I don't know.
All of my actor boyfriends would slap me around. They're very passionate.
But just act like a radio personality.
Pretend to be.
But and then going back to like that authenticity that the Joe Schmo who did work at a car dealership, they don't need to act. And I think you once gave me a great piece of advice.
But wait a minute. He's conflicted because he's like, the first reaction was, goddamn right I did, because I'm the fucking man. I know he said that in his mind, but
second
then he
thought
was like,
oh God.
Yeah, but then whatever you're about to say is going to be embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
It's always is.
And the listeners right now in the chat room are lined up, and they're ready to like literally transcribe it onto this webpage they have that's called like Our Leader, and they're always like, put the dumbest shit he says on the page, and let's genuflect at it.
So I would say, what you were. Now I just lost my train of thought.
My best piece of advice.
Best piece of advice. Hey, that's how good it was. I immediately forgot it. No, one of the first meetings I had before starting the podcast is you said the thing about these microphones is that you can try, but you're gonna end up being yourself. You can't hide from being yourself.
He never said that.
I
don't think
I thought this was the one you get two thing.
Yeah, but you're going to be yourself inevitably in front of these mics.
Yeah.
And you can't avoid it. That's the stressful part. When someone, if you guys ask me a question and I answer it, that's me finding out maybe I guess I do feel that way. You know, you can't avoid being yourself at the very least when it's done well.
It's probably why
I think you give it so much more thought than most radio people ever. Like, seriously, like you saying that makes me think that you are both the correct and the worst person to be doing radio because you're so elevated. Do you get my compliment I'm throwing there? It's just like, to hear you say that, I know most of the people that were my contemporaries in radio have never thought about like being like a certain level of genuine or a certain level of honesty.
Well, it's happening right now. I can feel it right now. Just this level of honesty at least to me, as I'm sitting on this couch, is painfully interesting. Like it just cannot work if you're not being truthful, I think, in this form of media.
And in a long enough interview, you can't keep up the facade forever.
You can't.
Like, it's probably why a lot of big name actors or A-list actors like only did nighttime talk shows.
Yes.
You could do like 10 minutes.
Super controlled.
You know all the questions. You rehearse your routine. You can get that 10-minute interview, but they're going to sit down for 2 hours with Joe Rogan because they're like, fuck, I can't. Like, I don't want to let people know who I am. Like, you know, they're bad for business. You know?
I think you have to be a bit more like Ross, though, to do that. Let's say you decide to go on Rogan and you're like, yeah, I can do it. I don't know. Like it is an art form to be able to go in there and guard things, but also not appear like you're putting up a wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, everyone. What I've learned is that you also need to find out where your line is. Like, I had to find out where my line was sometimes. Unfortunately, live on air and going like, "Yep, wish I could take that one back."
Yeah,
but that's the business model. That's I look at this form of entertainment and content as I always tell my guys, it's blood magic. That the more
sounds gross.
You are yourself, and you're kind of, I don't want to say you're not sacrificing, but if you're okay with having the egg on your face, and it's a real moment, and it's a real oops, and now it's in front of everybody and it's entertaining.
Right.
That's kind of a small sacrifice, but it's blood magic and it's real and it's entertaining.
And it's kind of like I've always looked at it because I've been in Daniel too. We've been almost too open about our entire lives throughout. Daniel's been broadcasting for 30 goddamn years, long enough to have. Now he's going through hip surgery.
I've been broadcasting long enough to get a hip. Yeah. In the broadcasting,
from teen
I think
to hip replacement.
I think 19. I was 19 when I started, so the broadcasting destroyed my hips.
That's insane.
So now
that is really remarkable.
Yeah, as of Tuesday, they put a brand new hip on my right side. I guess it's steel and carbon fiber and ceramic and.
All right, carbon fiber. All right, Fast and Furious.
It's good.
Well, let's talk about it. But
did we get all the stuff out of the way? Because this was fun just starting talking to Rauce. That was awesome.
Before we get into Daniel's hip, let me say BDM Appreciation pre-sale is going to be up on Monday, so it's your last weekend.
Yep.
You have to be a BDM to get it's a $5 BDM shirt on TomandDan.com right now. We got men's and we got ladies.
The lady shirt is the original lady shirt that we did. So for women that are asking, like, hey, does it fit like the one we got last year that fucking sucked? No.
The one the year before
it does not. It does not. We did hear what you said, and then Eric and Mark Villain were trying to source it, and I believe they got it done. It's more of a, correct me, is it called a racerback?
Razorback, yeah.
Razorback or a racerback?
I don't know.
Razorback sounds like a pig. Razorback sounds like a shirt.
It's one of those. It's a kind of a female tank top.
Yeah.
But anyway, and we're going to be, shipping those out before BDM Appreciation Week, which
Racer. That's Racer. Razorback is a large pig.
That's Arkansas, yeah.
Yeah,
in April, and then we have a BDM only appreciation party at the end of the week on April 19th. Again, you have to be a BDM to get invited to that. We send out an invite to everybody. We already sent one out. We'll send another one out in a couple weeks.
If you didn't get it, you can show at TomandDan.com. I'll do my best to hook you up with the pertinent details.
I want to thank Just Call Mo, Fairvilla Megastore, and White Claw for being sponsors of our BDM Appreciation Week. They help us, subsidize some of the costs it is to, put out a $5 T-shirt in 2025.
Yeah. Because, now, you did want to do a $1 T-shirt.
That deemed impossible.
Yeah. Especially now. There's all kinds of tariffs and shit happening. Like, I don't know if we're ever going to get the $1. We're going to try. We're going to try.
It's been hard to keep the $5.
Yeah.
It was easier 3 years ago when we started
so hard keeping the $5.
But anyway, it's going on. It ends on Monday.
And I don't even know what you do to keep it $5. Like, you could be back there sucking dick.
We lose
money. I don't know what to do. He does weird things. Like, he does things that I don't know about, meetings and
tug jobs.
Yeah, blood oaths. Weird.
Ross knows.
Yeah.
Listen, Ross now, runs his own small podcasting business.
It is wild.
Yeah, it's a family business, right?
Yeah.
Say that.
And it's hard.
And Joel counts for that too. Because this, our business with Tom, our wives, that's very much this is a family business.
Yeah. It's super small and
if I'm missing something, there is a play where I call Crystal and say, "Hey, can you swing by the studio and get my bag with the recording?" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It is a family business.
And it's hard to keep subscribers. There's a million subscriptions out there, and there's also a million different softwares that are like, we will go through and cancel all your unused subscriptions.
Yeah, I hate those softwares.
And then of course that affects everybody. anybody with a subscription service business model.
Don't
like
use
we have.
Acorns or any of that shit. Don't use that shit.
And so that's what
They
we're
steal money from you.
like.
And there's Chinese corporations. You want to do that? You're not a patriot.
So
I'm starting this. Like I'm starting the groundwork.
So me and Daniel realized, like, listen, it's hard to keep subscribers. You know,
it
we
is.
and we understand, like, you have 10 million subscriptions. Some of them got to go, and inevitably, being a BDM, you know, your Netflix, you're like, Netflix has more.
Yeah.
You know, it does.
It really does.
So,
and it's
but-
way better.
But they do Appreciation Week?
No.
They don't.
They don't. They don't have $5 t-shirts.
Do they have community meetups?
No, they don't have any of that.
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah.
That I'll look into it.
But they do
may
have a
exist.
new season of Invincible on Amazon Prime, and it's fucking awesome.
And then also next week, at the end of the week, we're doing a Gatorland special. Tom and Dan go to Gatorland with Savannah. That's going to air next Friday during spring break.
Who would have known that you and I would go to Gatorland? First time that we've reconnected with Savannah.
In a while,
In a very long time. And we fell right back into doing all the dumb shit we used to do.
Very
In fact, we almost, and you'll hear it in the show. I'm not going to spoil it, but we almost got kicked out of Gatorland. Well, she
What if
almost got us
Savannah
kicked.
died doing that?
She could have easily died.
It's one of those.
And then the people would blame us, right? They're like, Tom and Dan came here to do a podcast. Savannah died.
Yeah.
I think that's good math. Yeah,
100%.
100%.
Ran over
Would've
by
been-
a train.
Oh, they're going to blame me. They're going to blame me because I'm the bitter one that makes all the fucking jokes that go a little too far.
But it would be like Steve
You know,
Irwin.
It would be
He's
because
still bitter. It's
exactly.
It's been 12 years since all of that happened, and that little one, he's so bitter. He brings it up daily.
And why I say that, because like Steve Irwin died, they're like, oh, Crocodile finally got him, right? They're like, nope.
Podcast host.
Stingray got him. But Savannah, we're like, oh, Savannah died. Alligator got it, right? Nope. Ran over by a mini train.
She
A
is
tiny train.
still just as insane as she's ever been.
Yeah.
She forgot that I was in immense. I mean, I was in the most pain I've ever been in.
He's
and
hobbling around.
and she's dragging me around Gator, like physically dragging me around Gator. It's an awesome show. Thanks to her and to Gatorland, Mark, and all the guys out there that they really rolled out the red carpet for us, and it was awesome.
And
That place is dope.
That sounds exactly what I meant by blood magic.
Yeah.
It's a real
Yeah.
thing. You're on. You're in
she's
so
healing.
much pain.
I'm not healing from the train trip. She's healing. Yeah, I had to call and check on her.
So Daniel got his hip replacement. We talked about it a little bit on ACT. Now you told me you had a funny nurse story. You have a walker. It's funny. Ross came in and Ross like, what's this walker about?
Whoa.
It's like, you don't know how old I am.
And it's fluorescent pink with like a red wood grain.
You do look better than you did yesterday, I will say. Just in one.
What did I look yesterday? Like
no,
slower?
just way more frail and slower. You know, and then today you're a lot more upbeat. You don't have your diabetes socks on.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You had compressions.
I had compression socks. I'm glad. I got a little list of the things I want to go through. Let's dig into compression socks, and that's a perfect way to say it.
Yeah, because they dig in.
What the fuck? Those hurt more than the surgery. For any of my medical friends out there, now I would beg Andrea. I'd beg her. I'd be like, please take it off my heel. It's killing my foot. It's literally destroying my foot.
And
I couldn't stand it.
It keeps the blood from filling your foot up.
No,
right?
it was killing. It was destroying my foot. They were the
What
strongest.
does it do?
It makes you look like a point guard.
I don't know if you know about these socks, but if you have a full sock stretched out, it's compression times whatever, right? If you just roll it a little bit, you've created carbon fiber steel. It's these socks. If you just roll it a little bit, there's no breaking it.
Yeah,
it's the strongest fucking thing.
It just compresses your legs to keep the blood
It was compressing my ankles, so my ankles are about 2 inches wide.
So then was there like skin shooting out on
Yeah,
the
I
bottom
was
too?
like, and I would just lay there and I'd be like, please take it off. I was like, my pinky toe, it's killing my pinky toe. She pulled it back. My pinky toe is black. I'm like, can you please take it off? It's killing me. Like, why do I have to have these? Why do they have to be on so tight? Can't they just be like moderately tight? Oh, I got lightheaded there. But like seriously, it was just so tight, and I'm begging Andrea to slide them down, and she's like, "No, you got to keep them on for 3 days." And then I'm like, "Why?" She's like, "For clots." And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what does that mean? Is that where the clot comes up your leg, and if you don't have on your stretchy socks, then it goes to your brain, and you're laying there?
Yeah,
and you're like,
it's bad news.
And then I'm laying there, I'm like, "Oh, it feels so good to not have my socks." Ah.
Is that
how it happens?
Is the socks hold the clots?
They're clot holding socks? Are they clot socks?
They're just there for calf hugs.
Yeah, why are they there? And why are they so tight? And then they don't have any bottoms. They're tubes.
Yeah.
So is it like a stirrup? or is it?
It's like a leg warmer that wants to destroy your leg. You pull it up on your calf and you're like, yeah, and then you never get used to it, and then they put the grippy socks on you, and then you have to lay there. Fuck the pain from the surgery. I didn't even care about that. I don't even think I felt it. All I felt was the pain on those stupid socks. And I think the anesthesiologist, who I gave him a compliment and a joke, he had an American flag. He had like an American flag do-rag on.
All right.
That and I've talked about this with Paul from West End Trading Company. But he had the Charlie Daniels band.
Yeah, he had those vibes.
Yeah, he
had the
bike
to the
week.
bone.
He had the bike week. We're 1 week out of bike week. I'll let you get away with it. I looked at him. I go, thank God we got a good Patriot on the gas today.
Yeah.
That's my joke. I thought it was a funny joke. He didn't like it. Then he asked me about medical marijuana use. Then he said, you got to get off that shit. No, we didn't say shit. He said, you got to get off that stuff. We got to get you healed up. We got to get you off that stuff. And I'm like, uh-oh.
What did he say? Why?
No. And then I think he double gassed. I think he double gassed me. I think
As punishment for being a pothead?
I think he doubled me up for being a pothead. I think he did because they know. You've
This
heard
guy
that.
does
Because they
drugs.
were like, oh, tolerance.
No, you've heard that shit before, right? Where they're like, these potheads, they come in here and we give them the full dose for like a baby elephant. And they're just down there dancing and doing their fucking drumming and they're playing with their fucking rhythm sticks.
Why is that true? Like, how does
I don't
marijuana
think that's true, but
affect the
I don't think
anesthesia?
I couldn't get out. I couldn't get out. I stayed there. I was there at the surgery center, so I had to be up at 4 a.m. to be at the surgery center at 5. So I was there at the surgery center when the little button that you hold your pass on turns green and clicks to green, and you can go right in. I was right there at 5.
All right.
Because I just wanted to do everything by the book.
Yeah.
So we get in there. They get me situated, get the IV on, get you dressed out, ready to go. They give you a little bit of meds, but then you're just kind of sitting there, and like I couldn't tell you when they took me back. I have no idea. All I know is I went back at 5 a.m., and I came home at like 7 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah, it erases all your memory. They,
remember.
Do you remember the pre-surgery Demerol or like the drugs they give
It was
you?
awesome.
I mean,
it was so
It
much
was
fun.
awesome. And there was like a little
It's the best drugs in
Asian
the
man
world.
talking to me, and he had the best hair. He had white hair.
Oh.
But he was like perfectly coiffed white hair, and he was like, he was like a cool dude. He was like, "Hey, we're gonna get you taken care of here. We're gonna get you some good stuff here. We're gonna get you." He was one of those guys.
Not expecting what I thought he was going to sound like.
Yeah, he had a
sound
deep
like
voice.
Hulk Hogan?
Yeah, he had a deep voice.
All right, so Hulk Hogan sounding
Yeah, it was
Asian
Asian.
dude,
It was Asian Hulk Hogan
with
with
golden
white hair.
girl's hair.
And then so they gassed me up good, and then but when I did come to, and Andrea was in the room, I kept like opening my eyes and looking around. I'm like, oh, I feel pretty good. Then I'd be like, oh, this feels so good. And it would like that idea of like just closing your eyes. You know, like when you're maybe laying on your bed or when you fall asleep in a car and you're in between that level of sleep where you're just kind of bouncing. It feels so good just to close your eyes and go to sleep.
Like you'll get like
I think
goosebumps.
that's what's like dying in a hospital. I think.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
Like you're like, I just want to sleep, and then that's it.
I have a low resting
bad.
heart rate, so my heart rate was dipping into the 40s. It was like dipping into like the 42, 43,
Okay.
And then they'd be like, "Sir, you have to breathe." They're like yelling at me, and they were very nice, but you know what I mean. They don't want you passing out.
Yeah, they're
or
not
doing
gonna
anything.
they're
And
not gonna whisper that.
No, and it's rules are rules. They're not going to let you go if you're like still queasy from the anesthesia, and I think I was. Like I don't think I do well with anesthesia.
Well, I like them when a medical professional starts slapping the patient's face to get them to come back to life. Yelling at them like the abyss. You're mad at the person for dying,
We
and
had
you
a-
scream at them long enough, they'll wake up.
We had a little bit of
You
that.
get so desperate, you just treat your patient like a jukebox.
Yeah,
you just hit it.
We had we had a guy next to me because it's a surgery center and they've got them kind of 20 bays or whatever. They get you kind of packed in there, and it was like a typical machismo Latin guy with like Bluetooth in his ear, and everything was a complaint. He's like, "Oh, I need pain meds. Oh, motherfuck this. Oh, motherfuck. Oh."
Is he screaming at the nurses? Or
Yeah.
whatever?
He's screaming at the nurse, and they're like, "You're gonna stop. We're gonna get you your pain." He's like, "Where is it?" They're like, "We're bringing it. Get it now. Oh, motherfucker. Oh, motherfuck." And he's like yelling the whole
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
And then Andrea's rolling her eyes, and I'm like, "Oh my god, this guy won't shut up." And then he starts like flailing and hitting everything.
Whoa.
And she said, and I was like, "Oh shit." She was like, "If you don't stop, I'm gonna have to restrain you." And then I guess his wife was like embarrassed. She's like, "You gotta please, please don't do what you do at Olive Garden." Like, I don't know what was happening there.
Oh God, it's like Fridays all over.
Yeah, it was wild. Though.
Oh no,
this guy was angry.
The stuff that medical professionals have to put up with, nurses and hospitals,
Oh my God.
it's insane.
And they shave my
every
thigh.
day.
And they shave my thigh, and I believe the edge of my penis balls.
Okay,
just the edge.
just quadrant 2 of a nut.
Yeah, just the side of it. Like just if you were, it's
like your inner thigh.
They
pubes.
like you can see it right here. See, they
Are
shave
those considered pubes? Like
your thigh hairs?
Like the pubes that touch your other pubes.
Those are hybrid. those are somewhere in limbo land.
Inner thigh pubes.
Thigh pubes are pubes. Savannah actually, oddly enough, taught me that because her mother used to say, "If you shave your thighs, you're a whore." I'll tie it in.
That's a bumper sticker.
That was Savannah Bones' mom said, "If you shave your thighs, you're a whore."
You're talking about the medical professionals. My best friend that I've known since 3rd grade, and we both now live in Orlando. Where he's just my Puerto Rican brother.
Yeah,
he is now a nurse, and I get to call him, every now and then and find out what his day of work was, and it's just insane. And learning like little vernacular. Great example. This made me laugh for 2 days when I said like, what's like some of like the verbiage over at your job? He goes, well, there's this one girl, every time we check in for the pre-shift meeting, she goes, all right, now it's time to wipe some ass. Like they have this, at least on their floor with that group, their whole inside joke is like, you ready to wipe some ass?
that's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. But
imagine going to work every day and wiping different strangers' asses.
Yeah,
and they're yelling the whole time on a Bluetooth.
How about this? Even more of a plot twist.
Yelling on a Bluetooth.
Motherfucker! You're happy that they're pooping. Because that's a good thing. Like all nurses, all medical professionals, when you are pooping, they're secretly in the corner going like, hell yeah, bitch.
I don't know. I think if I was a nurse, I'd be happy that they died. So to stop wiping their ass.
I think I might too.
I wouldn't say it out
just
loud.
would never talk about it.
And I'm really happy. I'm just saying, like, well,
relief.
I don't know.
It's a relief.
Relief.
I'm not happy. I'm never happy with anybody dying.
Anyway, but
I had a hot nurse. She's all tatted up.
All right.
She followed me and my wife on Instagram.
Nice. Good call on her to also follow the wife.
Yeah, and then she reached out to my wife and said she loves the show, and her first show of choice was the wife cast. And I go, no! Because it's really filthy, and I think it's packed full of cum and shit.
Yeah.
I think we were only talking about doo-doo and semen that day. And that's
what nurses deal with every day.
You know what? I didn't think about that. That's an excellent point.
They deal with it more than anybody else.
Yeah, like Rouse's friend. You know
They're
what?
desensitized.
She is. In fact, maybe that's why she liked it, is that it's real. And she's real.
There's sometimes like, and he's a great nurse. He does his job to the best of his abilities, but just understanding the reality of what a nurse goes through. And I got to see him, in the beginning, like freak out, panic. There's a code blue, and it's not a Coors Light, we've got something. And now he's at the point of that it's kind of desensitized and a little bit more normalized, which is kind of what you want even more so out of a nurse, that they have the experience of what to do. Yeah. But just to see him change in that shape has been so wild, because a year ago, my man was a college brah.
Right. It's a humbling.
And to see him come to full frontal nudity of humanity.
Yeah, and then you get like, what if you had to do 6 months of intense ER, just clean up, before you entered the workforce as a human?
Yeah.
Right? Like we're going to let you know what these...
You mandate it like you do
like
in Israel,
army.
like you got to join the army for
like the Israeli army, like North Korean army, like you have to do 6 months of old person piss and shit wiping.
It would make society better.
I think it would.
Yeah,
mandatory.
It would toughen you up.
It would toughen you up.
South Korea has them go to the military, but I'm kind of getting on board with this.
Yeah, these ladies
just have to do a stint in some sort of hospital
or just a surgery center. You're just like
or
the guys
old folks
complaining.
home. Where you just have to take care of people and see, because it would lower healthcare. it'd make everybody tougher human beings, right? Like,
I think it
care a
makes
little bit more.
Like I don't think I could wipe a guy.
You could
like
do it.
wipe a
Oh,
guy
yeah.
screaming about some shit on his.
You can do it because I've done it for family members,
Hair.
right? Like older family members. I've done it. I've done it for my dad. You know, you could do it. You could do it.
It would be.
You're tough.
It would be like wiping pudding off your dog. It's just hair. You're just wiping hair.
I thought,
Oddly enough, I have wiped pudding off my dog, and
I
it
just
is
keep wiping.
exactly like wiping shit off your dog.
Yeah, but just
Or
mushing
off
it
your-
in your
yeah.
hair.
Especially that guy yelling "motherfucker." You know that guy's hairy.
No,
you
I
know
know.
he is.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
yeah.
saying.
If you're just playing the stereotype.
yeah, he's not shaving.
No. And so Hot Nurse was great. Dr. Beautiful seemed great. I will tell you guys that my bone, they got it set. They got it in there and everything, and it did break. I had a hairline fracture in my bone when they were putting they put the what do they call it, devices.
They
I guess.
saw the top off your femur. That's
Yeah.
what they're doing, and then they hammer.
Yeah, they saw the
just
top off your
Little
bone.
off the top.
Yeah.
They hit it with a fade.
And they, the entire bone, the bone on top, they chop that off, and then they hammer a spike with a new metal top.
It looks very
down
Game of
into
Thrones.
his femur.
It's very Game of Thrones.
and
very
then
metal.
Daniel's cracked, and then they had to wrap it in wire, and
Yeah.
then they put a new socket in there that grafts onto his pelvis. And Daniel, apparently, they found out he's got an inward pelvis.
Yeah, I got an inward pelvis.
What the
I know. It's
Well,
like
yeah,
it goes
from the waist down,
inward.
I'm an inward.
Well, it's just,
You know,
it just
it's,
I don't know. I shouldn't have said that. It's the pills. It's the pills.
There's an outward pelvis and an inward. Like
well, you say inward pelvis. It sounds like
No,
your
I
dick's on your
in-
back.
I know it's like
it's tilted.
it's tilted in a way that like, and this was like truly a relief to hear the surgeon say this. He's like, look, man, no matter what you would have done, this was coming for you, because when you were born premature, your pelvis was like inverted and you had an issue, and it was fine for
just
the
wore it out.
vast majority of your life, but it wore out. You know,
Whoa,
and
that's so cool
it is
though.
pretty
That
wild that
you are less than 1% of a doctor going, "Hey man, this was not your fault." All doctors are like, "You need to eat less more."
yeah, no,
You know?
he was
yeah,
like,
yeah. There's a reason your
in
feet
fact,
are.
this
You
is
have to
the
put
part-
these socks on your feet
This
now.
is the part that sucks the most. Is he was telling me about, like, he was like, how much physical therapy were you doing before you came to see me and start investigating surgery? And I had done, oh shit, Samantha was still here. I just got in the Tesla. I was taking it to there. It was months. I did like 6 months of it, and nothing happened. And he goes, that hurts me, because he's like, no matter what they would have done, the way that your body geometry is, it would have literally been an impossible. It would have been an impossibility for this any of these stretches or movements or
Wow.
anything you were doing. He's like, as soon as you get done and you go back to your car and do whatever, your body geometry is exactly the same fucked up.
yeah, it's like
It's not. We can't
Oh,
do
so the doctor's like, "You just wasted 6 months."
yeah,
pretty much.
Nah.
like no amount.
But I'm
of,
glad to hear that, because I'm that type of guy, right? I'm like,
Yeah, yeah.
thank you for being real. Thank you for being honest. You know, like
no amount of yoga was gonna change
No.
that one guy from 300 that turned his back on the other Spartans.
Yeah, you
and
can't
then
do
went
that.
to get to the whole, like the goat
yeah.
prostitute house.
Yeah,
I haven't thought about that character in a really long
That guy
time.
oh, we
could have
love him.
done
We bring him
yoga
up all
for-
the time. In fact, Tom says I look just like him.
Well, I'm just saying, it's like he was born this way.
The hey you guys guy of 300.
My wife-
stretching's not gonna get rid of that.
Andrea goes a little bit heavier. I'll read what she says from the Twitch chat room.
Oh.
She said 3 rounds of epidural shots, a round into his hip, and nothing ever touched the pain. Wasted 3 years. She's not wrong.
yeah.
She's
Well,
not
wow.
wrong. I mean, like,
well,
I
there's
was,
a big amount of money in non-surgical alternatives.
Yeah,
because
attempts.
Yeah, because I've seen this before.
But
where-
I got inundated with people telling me not to get surgery. Like, I
Yeah,
really did.
well, that-
And I'm not saying that's wrong. Please don't take that. If you were one of those people and you know me, I'm not saying anything bad at all. It's just the number one thing I heard was, hey, you're going to get this surgery and it's gonna be bad. And so I don't know. I was scared.
Well, you should be. Surgery is it's scary. It's a wild event, and it does deserve a second and third thought or a second and third opinion before you pull the trigger on,
Yeah, I did
on
3.
some of these surgeries.
I did 3 opinions.
Yeah, I think it's hard because just like every industry, you gotta, there are surgeons, and when you go to them, they're gonna be like, "Let's do surgery," and that's the cliche everybody says, like, a surgeon is gonna recommend surgery. If that's what he does for a living, that's what you're gonna get.
I was satisfied with the way their approach was a little different. They made me see a doctor first. You know what I mean? Like to dial it in.
Of
they
course.
didn't go straight to it.
But you got to understand that it's like, well, it's not all bullshit. Like, yes, lots of people need surgery. Maybe 10% of those people that he said recommended surgery, maybe 5% could go on an alternative route and have success and never need surgery. But that's a 95%. It's like
and that's the interesting
isn't just
thing.
a 50-50. I don't think.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So the interesting thing, I know there might be some people listening to this and they're like, "Oh, well, maybe you didn't need surgery. You're pretty young." I am, but with that pelvis problem and with it being since birth,
I saw the top. Andrea showed me your bone. It looked like a cue ball. It was perfectly round and like
it
just
looked
grinded
exactly
down.
like Jim Colbert.
You have a
I
gym
have a
in
Jim
your hip.
Colbert hip.
You got a gym hip.
Yeah, so it's like nothing's gonna fix that.
But
besides this,
it was one of those things where like I didn't even have the space. Like, let's say I could do like PPR, those regenerative type medicines that people like to talk about. QC Kinetics, I think, is one of the big brand names of that. And I'm not here to say any of that stuff doesn't work. I would never say that because what works for you may absolutely work. But I didn't have any space in there. Like, there was no space to put anything. It was a fucked up hip with a cue ball stuck in it with no space. So I'm just grinding all day. I would sit here just in massive pain, just like grinding that bone all day. Just all day.
Well, let's talk about pain, because another thing we did talk about on ACT is that they didn't give Daniel any painkillers, right?
Not one.
Which is weird.
Well, they gave me tramadol, which I don't count.
And that's a pamphlet, and a pamphlet.
That's what we're giving Lena. It's I guess it's a non-addictive type of pain.
But then the chat room was saying, "Oh yeah, my best friend got really addicted on it. It's highly addictive." So I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah, but it's not Roxycontin or Oxycontin or all the contins and which they don't give anymore.
Oh, I wish I was in the land of cotton.
Which are really good at killing pain, and it feels so good.
Old time there, not forgotten. Back when they had the pain pills.
Yeah, you'll rob anybody for it.
Copper.
Your family.
Catalytic converters.
Your own family.
Yeah, I would rob for my family.
Just to feel how good it is. But now, and Ross, you told us before, you never taken a painkiller?
I have never taken a prescription painkiller. I don't know. I've got a bunch of weird opinions, of course, from my own experience, but like
well, you saw everybody die.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah,
It ruined so many people's lives.
It ruined a generation. Sometimes I'm like, man, whatever happened to all the Gen X people? Well, why are those numbers so small?
Yeah, they're low. They're very low.
Yeah.
What happened to all the Disturbed fans?
And you're like, this created $1 trillion industry like in 2 years. That's how good it was.
But yeah, it's too good. I have never taken one, and not in the sense of like I would never. I would just need to be a very specific situation. Definitely post-surgery, I'm going to take a painkiller if I'm in pain. But I've never, I've been lucky enough to never be in a situation where I feel like I need a painkiller. Now, uppers, fun times. I've gone to some places, but for some strange reason, I've just always I've seen those downers at house parties since high school, and it just always was never like, I wouldn't do that. It's not for me.
That's the only drug I have spoken to my sons about on the drive to school. Where
it's because you give your handyman. He always gives his handyman a ride to work every day, and I think that's weird to pick up some homeless guy with your sons in the car and then give him speeches on pain pills.
And it may be too young, but I'm like, listen, sons, there's a drug out there called an opiate, and it's one of the most addictive drugs. And sometimes it's not even the human being's fault. Once they start taking it, they become so goddamn addicted to it. They'll do it. Their brain will tell them to do anything. It's a goddamn disease. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, stay away from it. If you ever get prescribed it, ask the doctors for something different. I'm telling them now. So it maybe gets in their head.
Yeah.
Because
and then their response is like,
Yeah.
but Dad, but they're not good, are they?
Yeah. Now here's the thing. That's for my
Imagine
sons.
trying to
They're
play
so good.
Roblox while your dad is telling you some bullshit about Oxycontin. You know, he's telling you all this Oxycontin shit. All you want to do is play Roblox.
That's for my sons. I thought Daniel was going to get pain pills and give me a couple.
I would have given you 5.
Because
I
I'll
always
take
get
because
5.
There's
I would
nothing
have given you 5.
There's
I
nothing
always
better.
get 5. I'm a fucking good pain pill man.
Like-
I gave 5 to you. I think I
I
gave
know.
5 to Sam. Now, if I didn't, and
I'll
if
sit
Sam
there-
doesn't want to be related to that, I'll cut that out.
I'll sit there. I'll be falling asleep on my computer, looking at the eBay, and I'll be like, oh shit, how long I've been?
Oh, I gotta pick up the kids.
Was I asleep here? And then I'm looking. It's like, oh, it's
Yeah,
gonna be like only 2
Oh,
minutes.
it's the
there.
fucking middle of the night.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
walk around, you're like, oh god, it feels so good. Anyway.
No, I've never done any of those painkillers. I know from my family, my dad definitely went. I mean, he was a Floridian in the 90s, so he definitely touched all those hot stoves.
They give them to you for a sore throat.
Yeah.
They would give. I would go to the doctor. They give you.
Oh, he's got a cold. Let's pump him up. Vicodin.
What weed doctors are to weed right now in 2025 of like, oh, is it anxiety? Here you go.
Yeah. Even like, do you have anything? No. I think you'll.
Yeah. I think you're good.
Have you ever felt tired? Sorry, make a joke. Have you ever been tired? Oh, yeah. Approved. All right.
Yeah.
Let's take a break.
Yes,
When we come back, I want to tell Ross about some advice that I may have been wrong about that I've been telling everybody. And I realized the other day, I was like, oh, I think this was a mistake. So I'm going to change my stance
Okay.
on a piece of advice I've been screaming for a
All
while.
right. We will be right back then. These might be last week's songs. I don't really care, you know. Like I mean, I think it's the one thing I forgot. We'll be right back. Back to a mediocre time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
On the couch for the first time ever on a Friday free show. You know, we have a thing for Ross's. This is our different Ross. This is Ross Padgett.
Yes.
You know him from Good Sauce with Ross and Joel, the podcast that. Do you call it a podcast or a radio show?
I've been calling it a podcast because
I think that's smart.
Yeah. It's a podcast that's on a radio station.
Yeah, I think that's smart.
Yeah.
By the way, that's becoming a lot more popular now. You're seeing these kind of pop up now.
And if I was a business out there in Central Florida, I'd advertise on Good Sauce with Ross
It'd
and
be the
Joel.
easiest money you'd ever spend.
Yeah, because you're gonna
people are engaged.
Yeah. They're a small upstart business, and that's when you get the best value on the advertising.
We're not going anywhere.
Once you've been around for 15 years, you're gonna pay a premium. Once I started to realize, I dialed it in, and now you're paying with Tom and Dan. Ross, you still get a deal.
Yeah.
So contact him and advertise because it supports small podcasts.
And you're a lot like us. Not to say I'm not speaking ill of anybody else, but I just know that when you do a job for a client, I know you guys do an excellent job, and you want to super serve.
Yes.
And that's kind of what. Tom's whole mantra is that. Like, we try to do that. So, get on that. And you also, doesn't your wife do that?
Yeah, she's the,
That's awesome.
when you send an email, she's the one responding back. So,
There you go.
or if you also want to get in contact with me, I have access to that same email, which is rosscomedy@gmail. We just picked up 2 new sponsors.
Awesome.
Just recently. So
Who are they? Throw them out there.
it's Foundation Records over in College Park.
I love those guys.
Peter and Alex Cohen, if you love those guys, fun fact, went to high school with Alex Cohen. We
No
had
way.
history class. We've always been friends.
So, local record shop with local record mun that you know. That's dope.
With a dope-ass history between him and I could go on and on about those brothers that run Foundation Records. They are amazing. And also, Mortgage Guy Don just jumped on
I
board.
love that guy.
Just starting this month, and he will be sponsoring my Fringe show as well. So
Awesome.
Killer,
Good
dude.
job, man. I'm glad it's growing.
It's
God.
growing.
Working
It's
out.
happening.
See, I told you there's another guy out there that can do it.
Yeah.
And
I
there's
told you.
And there's also, I'll also flex on this to all of your listeners. I was just listening, and I don't know if I might be the only one who does this, but I will listen to the podcast that I publish and post just to hear audio quality and make sure that we're making sense and kind of going over like, yeah, that was good. That wasn't great. This last episode probably is the best episode, which is kind of a problem because Nico and Joel, the other 2 guys usually on the program, weren't there. It was just my wife and I talking about our first 6 months of what parenthood has been like. And
that's not good for Nico and Joel.
Yeah. But it was amazing.
Once Daniel realizes that he can do the show with Andrea,
I don't want to do. I don't want to do the show with Andrea. I want to do the show with you.
I was listening as I pulled up here, and I stayed.
Hold on, maybe I could do the show with Andrea. I was thinking I don't want to do a show with Crystal because she's crazy just like Daniel. Andrea, me and her, we can do some goddamn business.
Yeah.
Right,
She's
so organized.
It was hard to leave my car because I was really I forgot certain parts of her. I guess what I'm trying to say is that the podcast keeps getting better, the shows keep getting better,
Nice, man.
and this last episode is near and dear, very special to me. Probably my favorite. She had a glass of wine, I had a beer. And it talked about parenthood,
Nice,
and it felt like one of the most honest, the most blood magic filled episodes that I've ever been a part of. It was very
I
special.
think there's some truth to that sacrificial kind of a thing that you're going down.
You're talking about your hit.
We've done that with like things that my wife does, things that I do, things that my daughter does, things that your boys do.
Yeah, everybody goes through the same shit. Every human's about the same.
We're all super flawed, and we all make mistakes, and sharing them makes me laugh. So I don't know. I like that better.
It's a more honest way.
There you go.
Yeah. And it should, and this will never, no one will take this advice, but you should stay when everybody's fighting each other about politics and everything, and like it just realize, even though if you don't like it, like these people that you hate online are just like you. Everybody's the same shit. Yeah. They're doing the same shit. No one's different. Everybody's the same.
Do you guys ever get overwhelmed with the thought of like how much say do we really have in all of this? Like one thing that like ruins me, I don't know.
No free will? Is that what you're talking about? Oh my God, we're obsessed with that. We were just talking about how our fat listeners will never get skinny because of no free will. We were talking about that.
Your entire life makes no difference in the world? That's what I think.
So like what really messes me up, and maybe this is a little too existential, but it's a Friday free show. We get let's get a little dark. But
nothing matters? I love that.
Yeah.
There we go.
But if I was born in, I don't know, the deep heart of Texas, would I still have the same beliefs that I have right now? If I was born in a different part of the planet, like we are such creatures of our surroundings that how much and I can't delegate or distinguish what has made the impact part of myself from the surroundings, or was it just me, myself, and I who came to the conclusion of whatever belief?
Yeah.
Hopefully that wasn't too confusing.
No.
It would be funny if it made no difference at all, and I was born in Japan. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm the same person.
You're the same Tom.
Goddamn slap
Nothing.
foot. Yeah, you're talking about your running.
Nothing. I'm driving a boat in Japan, and I'm like
that.
Nothing's changed.
Your sons want to play Japanese Roblox. You're yelling at them.
That messes me up. Would I be a comedian if I ever moved to Orlando? Would I have a podcast if I wasn't born in Florida? What would I have been like if my parents were the Jacobsons from Rhode Island? And it always reminds me, I always come to the same end result of the reminder of how chaotic this really is. And with that chaos, if you look, and I'll get a little mushy here, get a couple beers and you squint, rip a pen, you'll find a lot of cool beauty in the chaos. Now, once I came to grips with like, oh, I've got no say about any of this.
Yeah.
It started to become, it recalibrated my vision of the world in the sense of like, this is pretty beautiful knowing that I do not know. It's kind of cool. I don't know. That's me at 35, and these are all new thoughts, especially since becoming a dad.
I like that. The deep thinking activation that I think you get from having a child is real.
And I not only just because I had a kid, it's because of my 20s. I pushed those types of conversations and those thoughts just away.
Why? Why do you think you did that?
I don't think I was worthy. I don't know. I don't even know if I was experienced enough to even have those thoughts. When you're young, you're you're fun, but you're also dumb because you haven't touched those hot stoves or you haven't had those.
I remember the first time somebody said young, dumb, and full of cum. And I was like, oh, that's disgusting. And then I was like, to the brim? Like, when I start producing cum, is it going to just start falling out of my mouth?
What happens when you cry?
Yeah, exactly.
You're like, what cavity is it filled?
Yeah, where does the cum? I still don't know that.
Is it a belly full?
I still don't know that. That's called the rod. That's called the rod. So I still don't know that. I still don't know where your cum is contained in your body. 50% of me still thinks balls.
So I'm always, I pushed away those conversations so much. So now I feel like I'm playing catch up of trying to find out exactly. Throughout so much of my 20s, it was filled with so much people pleasing, and I got really, really good at small talk. I'll drop the modesty. Put me in a room full of strangers, a.k.a. stand-up comedy.
Right.
That's where I put all of the coals in with the fire. But when you're always introducing yourself or you got really good at small talk, that's such surface level. Like, I never really got to find out how I feel towards about a lot of certain things because I was always thinking about somebody else, which is not a bad thing. I was always thinking about the other person in the conversation more so than like what is my core here? I don't know what I'm trying to even what do I yearn for? So with those conversations with other people, I never got to that level, I don't know, level 8 of a conversation.
I feel like you and your boys sit up and talk about a lot of this shit. And I feel like you're confusing the fuck out of them, whether you're just getting all wild and you're giving them the Oxycontin dress down talk, you're talking about the universe.
Okay, well, this leads
Have some fun with your boys. You're an entertainer, for Christ's sake, man. You're at one point, and even now to this day, one of the greatest Orlando local... I can't even say this without him getting all fucking weird.
It gets all scoffed.
He was one of, and still is, one of the greatest local entertainers ever in this city.
No, it's like a clown.
No.
You're riding a unicycle.
Clowns are important.
I will yes and that and agree 2,000%. Everything is going to boil down to execution. That's where for me.
People are calling you a legend in the chat room.
Legend.
You love that. A legend.
Legend.
I do love that.
Yeah. Well, then fucking
I'm back.
Embrace it, baby. He's back. Hold on.
I want to do a documentary but I'm too lazy. Anyway, so
I think I broke my thing.
Speaking of advice, I will say that I was thinking the other day, and this happened because Daniel's near-death experience with his hips, and I say near-death because when we were going through this, I was like, well, he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Weak.
I knew
They're
he
gonna
thought
do
that,
what?
too. I knew
Do
he
it
thought that.
inside of his body,
and it is truly a fluke that much like the video game Avowed that I'm playing right now. I was brought back to life.
We'll talk games later.
By someone I don't understand, a foreign voice that calls to me in the night.
So, Ross, I'll explain the advice. I've been saying for a while now that you should no longer
I don't know what he's doing, by the way. Like, this is off the script.
I like this.
Okay. So I've been telling people you should no longer ask any other human how to do anything.
I'm familiar with this.
Quit asking humans how to do anything, your friends, your family.
And then he holds up his phone like an old man.
Yeah. It's like search in your phone, and every piece of information's there. Tutorials, videos of how to do things that are curated, and only the most popular, well-produced ones are going to be the first ones. So it's like they curate all these videos, hundreds of millions of pieces of information.
YouTube University.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah. And it will teach you how to do it. Quit asking your friends and family about how to do something. It was like, and then I thought of an example. Then I was like, man, this one may not be on there. But I was like, because I was trying to think of like something I'd ask Ross.
Okay.
Right?
All right.
So let's just say
You do love asking people for things.
Okay. Well, this
He does. Like, out of the two of us, there's only one of us that is a born favorman, and it ain't me. If I go,
this led me down a different road.
I don't. Yeah.
But so I thought to myself, I was like, what would I ask Ross Padgett? And I thought, oh, well, what if
What could he offer me? What is good for me?
There was ever a time where I needed to learn how to do the Shaggy voice from Scooby-Doo.
Okay.
Right? Because Ross has played Shaggy at Universal, right?
Allegedly.
And so I forgot. Someone else got in trouble with that.
You gotta be careful.
Didn't believe it. Anyway, so I thought, well, if I ever had to ask that question, I would call my friend Ross, and then he would walk me through it. But then
that'd be weird.
Going back to my advice,
just listening to you try to walk him through doing the Shaggy voice. I pay almost $1,000 for that.
But then I go back to my
I don't have
advice:
that.
quit asking humans anything. Just look it up. And I did look up on YouTube how to do the Shaggy voice, and then there was a YouTube guy that gave complete tutorial about how to do it.
All right, here we go.
First of all, I also.
Hey, what's up, guys? Akeem here.
Go ahead.
I did this with. This is how you do impressions. For me, at least, like I've got like 3 voices in the back pocket. Every performer, if you want the best way to do an impression, you look up somebody doing the impression, not the actual person. Like that helps at least the people who I've talked to. That helps out like tremendously. If like when you find somebody doing the impression very well, you're like, oh, okay, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm curious what he throws down.
Don't study the subject. Study the person impersonating the subject.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
Because that'll teach you more.
Let's see what this guy says.
And today I'm going to be showing you how to do the Shaggy voice in 3 simple steps.
It wasn't
Now,
me.
a lot of you guys have...
Yeah, what were you saying?
No, it's like 3 simple steps, and then he goes on. We don't have to, he goes on to teach you.
I don't
how to
like
do
his
it.
natural voice.
Yeah.
God, that's mean. But he's like, "Hi guys, I'm gonna show you how to do the Shaggy voice." Shut the fuck up.
It's that YouTube cadence.
Yeah, I don't like it. Hey guys.
But so,
my daughter's addicted to this shit.
So the point is, everything's on the internet.
Do you want a little bit of his voice? Here. Let's hear a little.
You to do in step number 2 is constrict your throat muscle and talk like this. And then in mid-sentence, just all of a sudden, breathe out of your throat. La 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 la. La 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 la.
See, he gives you little tips. It's good. See,
Hold on, I'm doing it. La 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 la.
And I can rewind it.
Way down yonder on the Chattahoochee.
No offense to Ross, but this gives me way more of a tutorial. Better for me. I can rewind
You
it.
can
watch
rewind,
it,
pause.
It's better than
Very
calling Ross on the
attractive
phone.
young black man.
And Ross is with his baby, and he's like, God damn, he's telling his
don't have
wife,
time
I'm
for
sorry.
you. I don't have time for you.
It's like, why bother me? So anyway, so of course, that seems true to me. That statement, right?
I feel like all right, so like one impression that I have, and I literally YouTubed it because so many people walked up to me and was like, dude, you kind of look like Owen Wilson. I would get Owen Wilson. I think
You do look like Owen
mainly
Wilson, with a regular nose.
Yeah, you don't have a dick nose.
yeah.
You don't have he has a penis nose.
He has some going on. I still got a little Zach. I got a baby Owen Wilson, but I was always told that. So I finally looked it up and I started looking. I was like, all right, it's always like a whisperer, and I'm looking up on the YouTube, right? And now, all right, so I'm gonna try my best for you to do. What's your best Owen Wilson right now? What? Just absolutely unreal. Why we're all here? I don't even know why.
I like that. I like that a lot.
I don't do impressions.
Yeah, I like that.
I don't have any talent.
Which one are you gonna do?
I'm like the radio guys. That's why I have nothing. I have no training, no talent.
You tighten up your mouth. You go ahead and you purse your lips, and then you whisper.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, you're doing good, Wilson.
There's always like a whisper foundation. I don't even know why. You're always so confused. And then you purse your lip. You make your mouth.
Look at how his neck is going up.
You make your mouth as small as possible.
But did you work on the mannerisms, or do you feel like you fall into the mannerisms because your neck is going up?
It's the only way I know how.
It's good, man.
Yeah,
That's really
like
good.
it.
I like that
And
a lot.
I haven't done that in I think like 2 years, so I'm pretty proud of myself right there.
Yeah, that's good.
But like you purse your lips, right? Give me a purse
You
lip.
feel like we're going to try and impress it today?
It's so
the day?
I love what I've seen you do impressions.
What are you gonna do?
My example is
good.
My example
Why
is
don't
bad
you do
because
a
I've never
classic?
asked you this.
Why don't you do a classic?
I'd never even
Let me
wondered
hear you
this.
do this. Let me hear you do this. Do this one. Go.
No.
For one is palore.
No.
For one is baloney.
I'm losing track of my point. My point is
Saying her womb is polluted.
that that the statement of you should never ask a human seemed 100% true to me, and I was like, that's it. That's the truth.
Yeah.
Something changed.
What changed?
Hold on,
is-
nothing changes with him.
Oh, okay. All right.
So when Daniel almost died, I was like, that would I almost lost my little buddy. Then I was like,
I'll take it.
I don't even know
I'll
how
fucking
to-
take that.
It was a real
That's the nicest thing he's ever said. I'll take that.
Dr. Evil mini-me thing going on.
Then I was like, I don't even know how to turn on the computer, so I should have had it written down somewhere.
I don't think he really does.
But anyway, so then I started thinking, I was like, oh wait, well, my whole advice is never call a human again. It made me. I have an Uncle Carl, right? A super nice man, and he built a small AC company down in Broward, and I used to call him in college every time my AC broke, right? And
What did I tell you about wanting things?
Yeah.
This guy.
So he'd walk in. It would be
so fucking cheap.
and it would be the only time I talked to my Uncle Carl.
I
is
know.
when my AC broke, and I call him.
I need a favor, Uncle Carl.
But he's a Florida real man. All Florida real men don't talk to each other. We all just call each other when our shit.
I need something.
Yeah. And then it dawned on me when I started thinking about how my little buddy almost died. I was like, wait a minute. Because of my goddamn advice, I haven't talked to my Uncle Carl in years, and then I haven't talked to my friends and family in years.
Crystal says you don't participate on the WhatsApp for 4 years. We have
Let's just look it up on the internet.
We have a joint group
That's
chat
so
of all of
good.
his friends that even I'm in, and I don't think he's participated in it for 4 years.
It also made me realize that, wait a minute, do I only talk to my friends and family when I need something?
Hey, I'm not
Maybe
saying
they're
that.
a bad person. I did think about that. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, shit.
It sucks that
I noticed he did text me yesterday when I was supposed to work again.
It sucks that it took you to not need anything for you to come to grips with oh man.
So
EJ says that you are a transactional human, meaning you have to, what's in it for me?
No, that's not true.
Well, that's what EJ said.
Because I thought it was like.
He also the chat room is also saying your compliment walk the line of unintentional dickhead.
Yeah.
We have a character on the show that Tom does that he doesn't know he does. It's called unintentional dickhead, where he's a real dickhead, but he doesn't realize he's doing it.
Which makes it so much more powerful. It's so much powerful.
Yeah, it is.
When someone accidentally.
It's like calling someone the wrong name. It's a real big insult. It means you never, you didn't even have enough respect to learn their name.
Ladies and gentlemen, Russ Padgett.
Yeah. It's the ultimate unintentional dickhead
You
thing
could walk
to do.
out. You could walk out.
Because
I love it.
It's accidental, but it means so much.
Man, that's so good though. You're onto something.
So then I was like, because this really happened, I was like, oh shit, all
So
my
you started
friends
having did you start having a mini meltdown based on your own realization?
Well, because I realized, I was like, oh shit, I bet you other people realize this. With like, I stopped bothering people to ask them about shit that you could look up on the internet. But then you realize, like, fuck, I haven't called this person in a while. Because
I don't talk on the phone.
Yeah. And then you lose, and then it's
Andrea's dad called me to wish me luck in surgery, and I looked at the phone, I'm like, ugh. No, I was. I just can't. I don't like phones anymore. I'm like, ugh, they're gross.
So here's my fix to all this, right? You definitely still should look it up on the internet because it's better information.
Oh, yeah, right. Can never get rid of history.
but then after, if your first thought was like, oh, my buddy Ross knows how to do this Shaggy from Scooby-Doo impression, you look up the internet, find the better information, but then still call your friend and talk it over with them and say like, hey, I've been practicing this that I learned on the internet.
That doesn't seem like a waste of time anymore to
No,
you?
because then you get
can
the friend,
confirm.
and you get to talk to your friend or family, do what you need in life.
Which is a benefit.
Or you're going to be a goddamn recluse that everybody hates.
Yeah, a plant-loving weirdo that just stands at his back.
That's how other Florida men, like my pop-up.
Do you talk to your plants?
No, I don't.
So like because you've heard, I know everyone's heard the take of like the internet, here's all this information and it's supposed to bring us together, but how together are we really? And that is I think a drop in the bucket of a perfect example of what everyone is saying when they say that of like, dude, I don't talk. The only time family is now going to call family isn't like, Dad, how do I do a flat tire? Now it's like the only thing you can't get off the internet on YouTube is money. So now the phone calls are solely going to be from like, kid to parent, like I need $20. Like there's no,
you're right,
there's no information. It's already out there.
And then it's also making us all like shit. My sons now, they play with their friends on Roblox. They play video games. They see each other and talk to each other.
They go in, they meet at a certain time, and they do like community gaming with their buddies, and their virtual person is running around.
They are not going to anybody's house, or they're not going out in the street and meeting
all
up
I
in
did.
person. I know, but that's the only.
It's different for everybody because Maisie still does some of that, but then again, she's at dance all the time.
Yeah,
and she has such a tight core group of dancers that like she's got like a built-in like second family to go do all this wild stuff with.
There's the 6 months of parenthood has really made me re-love my mom in a lot of ways of the things that I had as a kid. And one of those things is having that neighborhood friend group. Now, I don't think my mom looked at that house when I was a kid and went, oh, this is going to be great for him and to make friends. I don't think she looked at all my neighbors' families and was like, oh, yeah, they're going to get along. I think she found a good deal. But, man, is that something that I wish now I didn't love it until I became a dad myself. The understanding that those lifelong friends, I just quoted them on this episode.
Yeah.
Because of a decision that my mom made of moving into this home that gave me, I don't know. I hope to God that I can provide that for my son. And right now, if we stay in that house, super not. Not going to happen.
Okay, yeah.
Not going to happen unless he wants the neighborhood friends to be cats.
Yeah, cats are cool.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
But they can't ride a bike with you, you know?
No.
They
Yeah,
can't.
but Ross, here's the thing. You look outside, you're like, there's no kids playing out there. They're all inside. So there may be kids all around you. They're just inside.
You just gotta find them.
But
You gotta shake them out of the houses.
No, but they're not going out of the houses. They're
Yeah.
all online.
No, but I think they still do. You're doing absolutes
Nah,
again.
I know.
You're saying all kids don't go outside anymore.
I'm not saying all
and
kids.
They do.
I'm saying the majority of them.
I don't even know if that's true. I don't know if that's. I don't know if it's that. I would say a
Well-
majority of what? Like a landslide majority, or are you talking about a 50-50?
I'm saying over 50% of kids
And
Because around here, there's a lot of bikes. So
Yeah.
if you go around here during school time, you're going to see pockets of kids everywhere.
Specifically, what I'm talking about too is that like summer camp dance and all that. I'm not referring to that. That like neighbor, like what did you do today? I went outside. And
Yeah, that's
you
not,
know, like
it's not as popular as
that.
it was. No.
One of my favorite memories and the hardest times I ever laughed was when I put my foot in the back tire of my mongoose. You know, the ones with the pegs.
Yeah.
Hell
I
yeah,
was one
you
of
had
those
pegs?
kids.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
had
awesome.
pegs. I don't want.
You had a nice-ass bike.
Let's
That's a
ride
good-ass
it.
bike.
Yeah, mongoose with
I had
pegs.
a Diamondback, which is like I always thought a step lower.
I put my
Diamondbacks are shit.
put my foot in the back tire, slid out. It was raining. I ate so much shit and I was bleeding, but I was laughing and my friends are laughing. And now I look at that and I'm like, dude, that's basically saltwater taffy. That's not going to ever hit mainstream ever again. Like, it feels like that memory is in black and white
I get
now.
what you're saying.
Yeah,
Like
oh,
me
yeah.
in a shopping cart going down a grass hill, flipping out, my chin on the gravel, sliding. I got hurt. I couldn't grow hair there when I became a man. I remember the rest of my life. You're right. My daughter and other boys will not be doing that. That's not a thing anymore.
It's weird. I spent an entire summer, Tom, jumping on a 60-inch diameter inflatable ball.
yeah.
An entire summer. Just getting launched.
I don't know
else
why
to
that's
do.
so funny to me.
It was called Biggins. I still remember the brand.
You know, it's our fault, and I'm blaming myself here. It's not my son's fault. It's because I'm providing all entertainment at all times for my kids, and our parents didn't do that shit. They didn't live to entertain
Figure it
us.
out.
Yeah,
Well, it wasn't, but it wasn't felt. It didn't feel like they were doing something bad if they weren't, right?
No,
Like
because their parents weren't even home.
Do you feel like
they
there's
didn't
a-
even care?
Do you feel like there's a guilt? See, like I'm a bad example. I can't really speak on much of this because my daughter is completely driven and goes to dance for 5 hours, at least 5 hours every single day. So I'm the bad person for this example.
Yeah.
But I wonder if, like what you were saying, like how do you even do? I don't think you get to pick that.
But they're always
Yeah.
entertained, and now with
But where did that come
technology.
from?
Well,
the technology?
Well, technology, but also like there's, think about the amount of kid places that are popped up everywhere. The fucking bounce trampoline places, the
Drop them off.
Electric go-karts,
all-
arcades.
like all these things. There was one kid's place when I grew up. Like, and we all grew up. There was like one fucking Showbiz Pizza or in down in Miami.
We had a Chuck E. Cheese. That's about it.
Riverboat Playhouse or whatever. And then it's like it kind of not even that good. Now it's unlimited. I mean, there's an entire warehouse of goddamn trampoline, Fantasy Factory trampoline, and ball pits.
Teaser land. You got an old man dumping his scooters into
Oh, you want to ride an electric goat cart? That's on level 2.
Yeah. You can do that for $12.
And there's just like unlimited entertainment,
skating rig, arcades,
and our parents also are like, oh, they look at vacations on the weekends. Like, how can they entertain my kids? I don't think our
you
parents
changing
look
then? Because I know you. I mean, you're kind of like you like to. Be with your boys and have great experiences. Are you dialing that back now? Is that something?
I don't know.
For me, I know what I want to happen. I want him to experience those like organic neighborhood friend group memories. Like I saw my first boob in that neighborhood, and I will never forget it.
Badass.
Yeah, like. That's a weird example. I just hope that my kid's first boob...
Was it through a window?
No.
Like a peeking style?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
I would like you to be standing there, and you're naked, too.
I will tell you that
masturbating outside my neighbor's window.
It's even... Honestly, it might be even more awkward. I'll tell you that. But, like, where I'm getting at is that, like, I don't know if, like, those friend groups are ever going to get established. Like, I hope my kid's first boob isn't on a screen.
Oh, shit! You just rattled me.
Of course it will.
Yeah, of course it'll be on a screen.
There's a difference between the static boob that a lot of people your age, my age.
Mom doesn't count as first boob, right?
Yeah, mom does not count as first boob.
My first boob was a piece of paper. And I'm goddamn proud of that.
Yeah, and
I'm
that's
goddamn
awesome.
proud of that.
Our generations for all.
And you know what? And I drive an
paper.
American-made Tesla, and my first boob was on paper, motherfuckers.
Dude, my first.
Get your chainsaw.
I could draw my first boob. And
I could too.
Dude, this
Redhead,
is so embarrassing.
Big redhead bush, and she was peeing on everything. Oh my God, that's why I go hard now.
I'm like, the adults like the people.
Yeah. I still didn't think that. I remember looking at it and thinking, why is she pissing on everything? And I go, and you know what? I'm not into that. I'm not into that. I'm not into water sports. I'm not into anal. None of that shit. I'm into regular. I'm into regular lay on your back and I'll just put it in the vagina. That's what I like.
So where'd you see it?
Oh, okay. All right. First boob, dude. I mooched off a boob. I was a boob moocher. I was a sucker fish for.
Wait, you suck some lady's boob?
No, it was even worse. Like, it wasn't even my. It wasn't my boob for me to have as my first boob. I have a friend. His name is Pete. He's so cool. He's the first kid to kickflip. He's the first kid. He's.
I'm gonna be the first kid to suck a boob.
Yeah, he's so awesome.
I'm Pete, motherfucker.
It's in my.
I suck tits and kickflip.
It's in my house, right? I suck tits and kickflip.
That's what I fucking do. I'm Pete.
Fucking rad.
Yeah,
dude.
he's a great character.
And he's a personal fitness coach now. He's like such a man's man. He's such a badass.
I don't think I'm off on this. I think I nailed this.
Right? So, girl has a crush on Pete. Pete is so cool that he's like indifferent, like, I guess, yeah, what's up? You like me? Cool. It's in my house where this event is happening when the girl looks at Pete and goes like, I think my boobs are 2 different sizes. Pete, can you tell me if my boobs are 2 different sizes? And then
Hold on, let me finish this kickflip.
Yeah.
Bitch. I don't know.
And then that's how I saw my first boob.
This is a great story.
Because Pete is getting flashed, and now all of a sudden, like, it's happening right in front of me. I'm like, dude, this
is a great story.
This is a big boob. Then she doubles down and goes, like, feel them. Next thing I know, my first boob is getting caressed by my friend in front of me. And now I'm like, looking back on it, the older I get, like, this is such a weird memory that my first boob was basically like watching,
You experience something that very few people get to experience. It reminds me of something that I got to experience. We will never have this ever again. This is gone. What Ross is describing is the ship has sailed. There used to be a time where even when you were in college, one of your roommates would come in and be like, hey, I fucked my girlfriend last night. We made a porno. You guys want to sit around and watch it? And eat Hungry Howie's.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, fuck yeah, we do. You know what I mean? Like, everything was a little more free. Your friend, she was more okay with you seeing the boob. She wasn't upset with sharing the boob with you. You know what I mean? Like, it was a better time. It was love.
I kind of, now, as I recount that story, I get a little sad knowing that my first boob was because she was like, yeah, sure, Ross is here.
But that's okay. That's fine.
Yeah. Beggars can't be choosers.
No, you don't get to pick that stuff.
It was the right one.
The funniest part of all this to me about thinking about your teenage sexual experiences is like, and thinking back, you're like, oh yeah, this girl showed me her boobs or whatever, this guy showed me a sex tape, but like, wait a minute, does this make me a pedophile?
Yeah, we've always thought about that. Yeah. Only if you're too old.
You guys are teens.
Yeah, if you're teens, it's fine.
It's my own memories.
Yeah.
But I'm a 43-year-old man thinking
I always
about
thought
it.
that'd be a funny punk rock band name. I mean, we're the teen pedophiles. Right? Like, you can't get us. You can't get it. We're allowed to do this.
Oh, yeah. I know.
That's very funny. But there's a reason why, is because those are the formative years of, like when you're finding out that other partner. I mean, movies, it's a genre of movies. It's so wild interacting with those feelings for the first time as a human being.
Let's go to the chat room. Concrete Toad, or our friend Concrete Mike, says, my dad had a girlfriend when I was 7. Her tits were huge. I walked into his bedroom once and she was sleeping naked.
And then you just...
7 years old?
I love you, Toad.
So then you're just staring off at
That's
the corner.
what makes him a real man. Okay. So
I saw my friend's red hair, long red-haired. He loved Aerosmith, was his favorite band, and they were the only friends of mine that read like fantasy books.
Okay.
They were the house
life.
that smelled like patchouli, and they had like the little incense burners that's like a dragon. You put the incense in there, and then the smoke comes out of the dragon's mouth. They had a pool table. They were very cool. He had a collection of Playboys. It was Jeremy's friend. And remember, I saw him like just straight mega plowing his wife, who was very hot. I had gotten up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom. They only had one bathroom. Old Florida house, flat roof, gravel, flat with gravel.
Yeah. That's what I used to grow up in.
I love those houses. I got up. It was a beautiful house. They had a big German Shepherd named Whiskers. I got up. The German Shepherd comes over. I'm rubbing him. I look. The door's cracked. This guy's big white Irish ass, and he is thrusting like I've never seen. Like, he's going for it. And it changed me. It made me, I was like, oh. Like, I was like, that's how I will thrust. That's how I will, like, because it didn't seem healthy. I'm not going to lie. They were in love. She was a beautiful woman.
Yeah.
She was one of the hottest wives or hottest moms. Mm-hmm. It was magical, man. It was good.
Yeah, but everything is different. It's the same shit with us and our parents' generation.
Yeah,
it's like it's all different,
It's just nice to finally find out what the difference was going to be. It's been face melting getting older for me. Like, just learning, like you said, it's like just like our parents to us, then them to us. Is just finding out finally what those differences are just painfully interesting.
So here's another.
Here's one more. My first boob was at 16. I went to a strip club that didn't check ID. I spent all the money for my Taco Bell paycheck. That's pretty awesome. That's a great story.
So here's another theory I've been battling with in my head. So we all hear, and most people I know grew up with some sort of traumatic experiences or whatever.
Yep.
And, like the varying degrees. Sometimes it's real bad. Sometimes it's, but it's like, everybody had some trauma in their lives.
Some level of suffering.
Yeah. And then it's like just the way you grew up in the 80s, like no one even knew it was bad, or just is like, oh yeah, like that's rough. You just leave your kid at home all day, there's so many different things.
When did that switch change?
So, and then we learn to get more educated or whatever, and then you get more fearful because of the internet, so you protect your kids more and let them wander less.
Well, you see more, right?
So,
and you don't necessarily see more good. You don't necessarily see more of a averages. You see more bad because
there was also like stories of like, hey, I played with a ball all summer long. I just jumped on it because I had nothing else to do. And not that that's trauma, but that's some hardship. Because
but being bored is not a bad thing.
That was the most fun. We called ourselves the Hell Pups. Thank you very much.
That's not a bad name.
The Hell Pups. We would jump on the ball. But that was some of the best memories. Out of boredom came what's the word?
Ingenuity.
Thank you.
Inuits.
I
like to call them savages. Though. Why would you do that? We're gonna ask you to leave.
But
I think the boredom.
It's hard to force boredom though, because,
yeah.
because like we now have the option iPad and a phone or whatever, unlimited entertainment, right? So like obviously we all have learned like as parents like you should limit this time. They'd be addicted to the screens. It's like all the time looking at it. It's got to be bad. So but you have unlimited entertainment at your disposal at any time, which we never had, right?
Ever.
You had some board games, maybe some video games, but they were like you've played them a million
Video
times.
games is a new shit. That was new shit for me. I got that 14, 15, 16.
Mm-hmm.
We now have unlimited games, and you can just go to one after another after another.
You don't even have to
unlimited
go
porno.
You don't even have to go to the game store anymore.
Yeah.
There's no work involved.
So it actually you have to force your kids to be bored. Listen, Crystal does this. Like, if it was up to me, they're like, oh, iPad, unlimited entertainment. But Crystal's like has this like you have to force to be bored or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's work now. Like where like back when our parents, it was just like, hey, go find something to do. Quit bothering me.
Yeah.
And then you were forced to go find something to do. Now it's like your kids are like, there's all this entertainment that I can go do, and you have to be like, no, you can't do that. You have to do something boring.
Just put some boundaries
for yourself.
Yeah.
But then it's a bigger problem. So I'm having an experience where I keep looking at my kids' lives and I'm like, is this too good? Like, they don't have.
You get back to this a lot.
They don't have any. They don't see me and Crystal don't get drunk and fight each other.
Do you guys yell at each other?
We don't yell.
See, Andrea,
so good
Maisie's pretty tough. She has seen me and Andrea come to blows.
But it's probably not that bad. I know Andrea.
I love the idea that you guys.
She's seen me scream and grab Andrea by the throat.
You need to argue in front of your kid because it's a little too good. So you're going over your lines.
I don't agree with that at all. I don't agree with arguing in front of your. No, we have.
Yeah.
Can your upbringing be too good and actually make you a boring person? Because I will say,
I would say the fact that you're questioning it is your answer, right?
I
don't know. I'm saying? Like just the idea of no, but think about it. Like
can a professional tell me like, oh no, too good is fine, and then I'm like, okay.
No, but see,
it's easy to be too good.
I think most things that are like common sense are like just the fact that you're asking, can it be too good? Is the answer yes? If you do everything for everybody,
just by the nature of the word "two" with two O's, then it's going to exist.
I'm not talking about spoiling them or whatever, because they're not. I would admit it. They're not spoiled. Or I guess you could. It depends on the definition.
All of our kids are probably pretty fucking spoiled.
But you know what I'm saying. But it's like I'm saying there's no trauma. Like, should I manufacture some trauma just to, get them everyone? Like,
do you find
everybody else had it?
Do you find that you are ever actively just looking for things to do just to make them do something exciting? Because from my perspective, I would say it does look like that. Sometimes it looks like you're like, we can't be bored. Don't get mad at me. But sometimes it does look like we can't be bored. We got to go do something great.
But it's for me. I'm like, I'm selfish.
Well, then
because I like spending time with them, and I like going on adventures and trips and doing fun shit. So it's like, and that's all I don't do anything else. I just spend time with my family. I really do enjoy it more than anything.
But
would
it change if if it was a choice between we can go do this grandiose like walking tour and boat thing, or we can just stay home and do board games, right? I don't. Right. But my point is that I think there is some skill involved in being the person that doesn't always make that face when board games come out, because at that point it makes me seem like you're addicted to the great thing.
No, we do. We play Monopoly. We play board game. We play poker all the time. We're always doing fun. But I'm saying, but it's not even the board.
But what about just not doing anything?
Well, then,
are you always doing something? Because I'm not. And Maisie's not. There are times when it's just like, she'll be like, I don't have anything to do. And I'll be like, well, that's your problem.
Yeah,
you got to go find them.
That happens, because I say Crystal's a better parent than I am. I'm saying there's no trauma, though. There's no shit that they're scared.
I don't think you need the trauma.
But every other human goes through some sort of trauma. Like I said, even back in 100,000 years ago, your parents are dying from toothaches all the time. You know, you were like forced.
Oh, I would have died at this hip thing.
At 11 years old, you're fucking you're hoeing a field or whatever. You're like, hey, we may starve to death this winter. You watched your grandpa die yesterday. Like, there's we experience. Can your life be too good? Where there's, should I tell the boys one day, like, hey, I think Mom's got breast cancer. I just scare them. And they're like, oh.
I want to be around for that because it's fun to make believe. But that's a horrible.
This is horrible.
Guys, we're going to do some pretend.
Really went right to breast cancer on the example there.
But no, here's while they're young, because, I got about 7 or 8 years, and they're still getting breast cancer.
The best thing my dad ever did for me was when he pretended my mom had breast cancer to make me tougher.
I could get in a car accident and something, so I still may have some bad, who knows, but maybe chances are it goes for another 8, 9 years and everything's fine.
And
then they're like, wow, nothing happened. Should I make something happen?
I do not think you make something happen.
I don't think you do
I mean, even though it's really fun, it's really fun and very funny to think of all the things to tell them to really ruin them, for it to negate itself. But I would say I don't think you get. I
almost slapped my bad leg because I'm really laughing now, and it does hurt to laugh. But that is so him. He's been obsessed with this trauma thing for forever. Have you met his sons? They're wonderful boys.
I don't think you'll get the fruits of the labor of not having any trauma until they're 25, 30, when they have an adult brain on their heads going like, wow, now that I've had enough life and I've seen other people's experiences, hell yeah, Mom and Dad.
Do they ever ask about yours or anything? Do they ever ask any questions? Or?
No, they're kind of like me. They don't care about anybody.
Are you Roblox? Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. I tell them, so they're like, oh, God.
Like me, they don't care about anything but themselves. Stop making me laugh.
But so, Ross, did you have a trauma-free upbringing?
No, I definitely, I would say...
You know what he looks like to me? He looks like golfing, full-grown Tommy Van.
Yeah, I know.
When I look at him, like, oh my God, because his son is tall and skinny, and he's got like that runner golf body, and I'm like, that kid could be whacking him, man.
Yeah, because you look like a well-put-together human being that's like good to hang around with.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't necessarily need trauma, because Daniel had a good upbringing, but he's born crazy, so that he gets that.
Yeah, I was just a rotten egg. I got great parents, but I fell out as a turd.
So you need the crazy or the trauma to be an interesting person, and it seems like you're an interesting person.
I definitely had the fair share of traumas. It almost bums me out. It almost bums me out that I'm a stand-up comedian because I completely fulfill the stereotype of my dad passed away when I was 13. So like
God, I didn't know that.
I always like that's not the reason why I became a comedian, and no matter how much I can say that.
That's what happened.
This guy's he's in the spot. He's in the Dead Dads Club. The whole listeners, we have a whole thing called the Dead Dads Club. How it shapes you.
I don't want to give that too much credit, especially when it comes to me and entertainment, because if I were to point a picture or point a direction of why I'm in entertainment and why I love entertaining people, it's because I saw my brother do it, and he did it at such a high level. I'm just so curious of, like, I didn't know someone in my family could do that.
Can we plug your brother? Because I'm a big fan.
He's the man. Chase Padgett.
Yeah.
Support him. And he's better. I'm cooler. That's the ism.
Phenomenal writer, phenomenal guitarist, phenomenal
he's
presenter,
great.
Actor. I don't even know what is he? Is he a one man?
Yeah, one man wrecking crew.
Yeah, he's fantastic. If he plays anything, because I thought he had something locally recently, and then I was like, I can't get out of that.
The most traumatic thing, though, that made the biggest impact on me that I would point to is when I fucked up and I got kicked out of school. And it was also right after my dad passed, like 5 days after. Yeah, they were just
high school?
Yeah, middle school, 7th grade.
Okay,
so both of
13.
these things were happening at the same time. And
what'd you do to get kicked out of school?
I always feel weird telling this because people might look at me a little differently.
You sucked an old man's dick, didn't you? You look like a guy that sucked an old man's dick.
I showed up to a bus stop.
We are too. First, I should preface that by saying Tom and I have sucked old man's dick.
No,
and when I looked at you, I was like, this guy's like us.
We're saying that.
This guy's like us.
I showed up to my bus stop in that same neighborhood where all my friends were, and it was such a big neighborhood that there were other groups of friends, and they were shooting like we called them wasps, which I always hate saying that wasp word as plural because the wasps gets me.
Hold on, what's shooting wasps?
So like a rubber band and a folded piece of paper. Did you guys have that?
We did pencil breaks. I'm a little older than
right,
you.
like one of those things.
You're late 80s, baby. I'm early.
I'm surprised
80s.
you weren't playing with digital rubber bands.
So you would fold a piece of paper as much as you can until it's, dick hard. Then you would shoot it with a rubber band, and it would hurt.
Oh, dick hard means something different here.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, very soft.
It would hurt. It would sting almost as much as, in my brain, 7th grade Rauce brain, as much as an airsoft gun. And this is also, do the math, I'm born in 89. This happens in 2002. So this is a couple years after Columbine with a zero tolerance policy. I brought an airsoft gun to shoot back with the other groups of friends. There is no orange.
I feel like you're trying to deaden this. You were planning on killing everyone that day, and I feel like this is.
I brought an airsoft gun to my bus stop.
Wow, dude, you could get into a lot of trouble for doing that now.
I got in.
You could get killed doing that now.
It was, yeah.
You can legitimately show up on campus with an airsoft gun and get gunned down.
I was such a dumb
Those
kid.
cops are waiting for them. That's why they're there.
I've been waiting for this my whole life.
When
they station them there. They're like, hey, someone's going to come shoot this place up. Be ready to shoot them.
And
they're
yes,
ready.
sir.
This was before airsoft guns were mandatory orange fluorescent tips on their
the good
barrels.
old days, I call them.
And
better time.
I could tell you the moment. I guess it's a good trauma for me because I learned from it that like actions and consequences.
So you're just at the bus stop.
I was at the bus stop and then they're shooting me. I'm shooting them with the one specific other group of friends.
You know what you could have gotten out of this? You just say, I'm just here to get these Patriots to school.
Yeah.
Because that's allowed now. You're allowed to stand at a bus stop with a big-ass fucking gun,
But
a rocket
they
launcher.
were attacking me.
I was so dumb. I thought I was going to get suspended from the bus for like a couple of days. And that's not what happened. I got kicked out for 5.5 months, and I went to an alternate school named Phoenix. And let's just say,
I know what that means.
What who reported you? The bus driver?
No, one of the kids.
Oh, so
One of the kids.
Did you bring it to the school, or you took it back home?
I went right back. I saw as soon as I saw the bus.
I'd make the argument that this is not on school
I was on my off time.
So,
I was protecting those children on my off time.
I feel you, and guess who also made that argument? My side of the people. But zero tolerance policy at the very least in Collier County in 2002. School bus grounds, your school bus stop is considered school property in some ways, not like property lines, of course, but like they can throw the book at you what you do at the bus stop.
It's so funny because you would have done that 2 years earlier.
But it would have been a different thing.
Yeah. I remember that same kid, I watched his dad really giving it to his mom. That me and Jeremy were walking down his street and DeLand PD pulled up and we both had not airsoft guns. They were just like plastic guns. You pull the trigger, it's one of those.
Yeah.
And we were all in our army gear and they drew down on us and made us put our guns down and everything. We could have been killed. It was before they had the red tips.
My 2000 graduation year prank. JB locked all the locks on the school gate so no one could get in.
Oh, you put JB Weld in there and fucked them all up?
Oh yeah, JB Weld, just so no one could get in the morning, so delay everybody getting in.
And we set the teachers on fire.
And then we were like, let's put a suspicious looking box that looks like a bomb in the front. So they called,
pretty good.
We were like, we put something that looks like a bomb in the
and
front
they'll cancel
of the school.
and we'll be heroes.
Yeah, it's like snow day, but with a threat.
And there's a Cuban janitor just kicked it all away.
It's a Florida snow day. It's a Florida snow day.
You put a pipe with wires coming out of it, so people think it's a bomb. That was our idea as a joke. like
not
in
good.
fucking 2000.
But getting in that amount of trouble was the most like personality molding. I saw a different side of my mom. Yeah, it was just, that was the most traumatic thing, was getting in that much trouble and letting down. I saw my mom go from like, I'm so mad, full circle, to, oh my God, lawyers are getting involved, to, oh my God, charges are getting pressed. My son needs me. Oh my God, his dad just died. The charges are dropped because of Roger Keith Padgett not leaving the hospital.
Oh, right.
So-
The cops felt bad. They're
No,
like,
it was the families. Families were about to press charges. I'm about to get in even more trouble.
oh, then they
and
heard
then,
like, yeah,
and then
he
word
Just
comes
lost
out.
his son. All right, we'll
Yeah.
overlook the airsoft gun.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm watching you.
Yeah, so then charges
How
were.
benevolent of them.
They looked at me and was like, he's gone through enough. And then still never been arrested. Don't have a record.
If someone Tommy's like, some kid brought an airsoft gun to the bus stop today, I'd be like, cool.
I was gonna say, did you shoot it? Yeah.
Did you shoot it at the
Yeah.
bus
Did
stop?
you shoot it? Yeah.
All right.
Who'd you kill?
Let's take a break. When we come back, we'll finish the show. We got a couple other things to talk about.
Yeah, a couple little things we'll get to.
I've got a good story about people doing good that I'll share with
Oh
everybody.
my God,
about
you've changed,
Airbnb.
my boy.
Yeah.
You have changed.
But I feel like we should put this out there that there are good people out there.
There are.
And I think the majority of them are good.
Yeah.
And, it happened with our Airbnb. It just got the text from the cleaning lady about
I don't
it.
know this,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
looking forward to hearing it. Guys, we'll be right back. Again, thank you so much for being here, Ross.
It's
we
been
appreciate you, man.
You guys are the best.
We're going to take a quick break. The name of this band, and you may have heard them last week. I apologize. I'm gassing out here. This is, well, just listen to it, and we'll be back today. But it's very nice to be here with you guys, and I appreciate Tom behind the scenes has been doing, he doesn't like compliments. I'm going to look at you. When
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, he's been doing so much to make sure that that I can rest, that I can go on my spring break, that he can go on his spring break, that our families can be, and he's been like organizing all of that behind the scenes, and I appreciate that. I love you so much. Thank you for doing that.
Yeah, no problem.
I really
Yeah.
appreciate you, man.
Like I said,
You are so
Yeah.
uncomfortable.
But it's okay. He's getting better. He's
Yeah.
a changed man. I saw my opportunity, and I just
Yeah.
laid a little love on him.
Yeah, heavy surgeries will do that. they will change some perspectives.
Was there ever a time when I thought I was going to die? No.
Yeah. I mean,
I never got that way. I know people think my
insanely
anxiety.
rare.
Also, I'd like to say this. It'll be the last thing I say about the surgery, really. I didn't have anxiety about the surgery. I know people think, well, but you can't get on planes.
It's
Yeah,
irrational.
I can't get on planes.
It's like Howie Mandel
But I
said,
can-
I'm crazy.
I could do surgery every day.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid of the surgery.
Yeah,
Planes, especially now.
Yeah.
Like, would we have one catch on fire? Yesterday I was reading.
Planes are
Did
not
you see
having a
that?
good year.
Yesterday,
no,
one caught on fire, and everybody in the plane had to stand on the wing. I thought that was pretty cool. You got to stand on the wing.
Did you see that footage of the one guy who got off a plane crash and he was like, he's a real bruh about it. He was like, yo, what the fuck, dude?
Oh, that was the guy at the surgery.
The one that flipped over.
Yeah,
and
I
upside
was
down.
just on this fucking plane, bro.
that when I saw that footage, first I thought it was fake. You know,
Yeah.
like,
The
because-
lady that was upside down and she slid down her seatbelt.
Yeah.
I was like, that's fake.
And then and then
I say everything's fake now.
once I realized it was real, I was like, oh shit! This is the first time we've really seen like inside after a plane crash, someone grab their camera and film what happens.
Yeah.
Right? I've never seen
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Like we've seen it in movies and shit, but have you ever seen a plane upside down with the people walking out and I'm like, no one's panic.
I always thought
was
you would, like
surprised
when
by-
you're flying down, like somebody get their phone out and yell "World Star."
Well,
yeah.
Well, we've seen
What a
like
time
bad
to be alive.
turbulence and stuff on video, but never upside down plane like of someone videoing them walking out of it and the stewardess like helping people out. I was like, oh shit, and like no one's panicking, that like no one's screaming and running for their lives. Like I thought it would be way worse.
I think they're just in total shock, you know? Like,
Yeah.
God, what that must be like.
When I had mine that was bad, where we just dropped thousands of feet and everything was fine, and I had to put on the
Bad
oxygen
turbulence.
mask. It was bad turbulence, but that was all I needed to kind of ruin flying for me, is wearing that little yellow mask. But yeah, it really, like, nobody said anything. We just kind of got off the plane.
So you're done with planes?
No, I still fly.
Okay.
I just hate it.
I've got 2 flights this year, same month, and I'm not, for the first time, like, I'm legit scared, man. Like
The
all
baby.
The baby.
The baby.
One of them's a vacations, the other one's for work. So I don't know. Planes.
Yeah, the baby changes things. But I always look at it like this, and please don't think I'm a monster. If I'm on a plane with my wife and baby, and we all die, I'm at peace.
It's preferred.
But also, plane.
I want everyone dead. It's just cleaner that way.
The amount of plane flights a day, one plane could crash every day, and still the statistically likelihood of you crashing is so small.
That's why I hate that I'm scared of it.
That in any other scenario,
I look at the numbers all the time.
You'd bet your life on it. Like it was something like, hey, there's Russian roulette with a million bullets empty.
Yeah.
One of them's will you play that for $1,000? You'd be like, hell yeah.
Are you afraid, Daniel? Are you afraid of full self-driving your Tesla 90 miles an hour down a road? No, absolutely not. I let it do it every day. Are you afraid of planes? I'm already crying.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't make any sense, but
so we get from our Airbnb. We're actually we're ending it in the end of May. So you have April, May.
Are you happy
to book
we're
it.
ending it?
No, but
is it bittersweet?
I'm happy to figure out what our next thing is.
Should we go there and rent it and do? Because we had said we were going to do this. Should we rent it one night and then offer up? We will film a porno in it of any of our listeners.
Yeah.
We'll do one porno because we wanted to do a porno in there, right? Let's film a porno in there before we get rid of it. I've always wanted to do a BDM porno.
I mean, there's some listeners that will do it.
That's gonna be fun.
We'll get our buddy from 360 Images. I'm blanking on. I just took a pill. What's that guy's name? Joe.
Yeah,
Joe Leclerc. Love that guy.
Yeah,
we'll get
he'll
Joe.
film it.
I know he's horny. So
he's a real man.
We'll get horny.
He's a real man.
We'll get horny Joe to film it.
Yeah.
And
we'll just direct it.
We could and to make it better, why don't we just go girl on girl and ease our listeners into it? You don't want girl on girl?
More traditional.
Yeah. Big black bull.
Yeah. I mean,
Cockled.
whatever, yeah. As long as
Cockled?
I am so intrigued by all of this little operation right now.
Cockled.
I keep thinking about what do you call it?
Do we
give it to the BDMs for free? The only way you can get it is sign up.
Oh,
Commodore.com/registration.
all right, so that's it. Yeah, but then they'll just spread it around. There's
You guys are in it, right? Like, you got to be somewhere. You don't have to be doing stuff.
We're just in the cutscenes like Snoop Dogg was in his porno. Remember the Snoop Dogg pornos?
No, I haven't not seen
he'd be like, hey, for shizzle, my nizzle? He'd be like, I'm here with Anna Mal. Because I remember that the porn star Anna Mal was in that. She had big hard titties. And I remember that he's like, we're in the studio, and she got in there. Man, she's going crazy.
Yeah. But he's just smoking weed during the break.
Yeah, he's just in there smoking weed, laying down raps. Maybe we should lay down raps. What if we laid down raps?
I would find it very...
You're a rapper. Will you rap?
Well, we've got
a porno.
We can, I'll rap in a porno for you guys.
There we go.
I just want to see you guys just Blair Witching it over there in the corner.
1095ers. Chat room saying that only 1095ers get access. And we know 1095ers won't share it because I know their names.
Yeah.
The 1095ers a month. You get it, Eric. I'll single him out. Eric would get the first copy, just like the Wu-Tang album was given to that Skrilla guy.
Yeah, you can't share porn when your name is attached. It gets different.
Do we do it like stuck under the bed? Like, I'm stuck kind of thing?
How did you get in my mind? This guy, he's in my... Do you like stuck in the couch or stuck in the bed?
Is that a porn
Put your hand on that couch. Put your hand in the crack of that couch.
Yeah.
No, on the further one. Put it all the way down. Now go, I'm stuck. And I'm your stepson, and I'm going to come in and I'm going to plow you. And you're going to love it.
And you're not...
And I'm going to get your hand unstuck because chivalry is not dead.
Have you guys
and you're not that mad about it.
How much have you guys talked about the whole like Pornhub thing where you like need to give a license or something?
Tom gave up and he's just Xvideos now. I have a VPN and I still go. The treat that I get is when I sit on the toilet and I hit VPN and it goes to Stockholm and then I get to see what's interesting in porn in Stockholm.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And they have better stuff. They have better, newer stuff.
I looked at it and I was like, we could make this a thing and fight against it. Tell our listeners.
Yeah, you didn't want to weaponize for a minute. This guy was like boots on the ground.
So tired.
We gotta fucking stop this, man. These goddamn government's taking away our pussies.
I think we'll just go to a different site.
You were mad.
There's other ones.
It's also a really It's going to be a weird group of individuals to go like boots on the ground. You're not going to get
yeah.
very far, I think.
Yeah,
I'm not going to let anyone take away my stepsister massage videos.
Yeah, no one wants to admit how addicted to it they are.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at it.
It's hard to
so
get-
You're
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, you're like, I'll just go to a different
Like,
one.
I'm sick. I'm actually so addicted to it that I have to lean over the side of the bed while I'm fucking my wife and watch a little porno just to get it. You know what I mean? Just to get it going.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have not done that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's called priming the pump.
Yeah.
That's multitasking.
It's called
It's
pushing
like-
the weed eater
It's
bulb.
it's the weed eater bulb. You
Yeah,
go,
yeah, yeah. It's like,
Oh, I flooded it. I fucking flooded it.
You need some gas in the carburetor.
Yeah, exactly.
Get everything going.
All right.
Anyway, back to doing some good. So we had an Airbnb guest that messaged my wife and said like,
Where's
hey,
my coffee, you piece of shit?
they are like, did you anybody find a wallet in the house? And the cleaning lady, she said nope, I couldn't find a wallet, whatever. And so we were like, oh, no wallet here. And then the next guest that stayed there found the wallet in a bathroom, which is weird too. Like, where
couldn't
was
find
it?
any wallet. It was in the toilet.
Where
It was in the
was it?
tank. It was in the
It
tank.
was
of the
wild.
thing.
I found it in my purse.
And then left a note on the table with the wallet and said, hey,
I was going to steal this until you notified me that there was a wallet missing.
and then it said, left a note like, hey, there's a wallet here. I'm guessing it's a previous guest, so you may want to contact them. Here it is, whatever. Then the cleaning lady found it and said, and then we're getting the wallet back to the people. And then they were like, oh,
We're just
thank
like
God.
Adam Walsh.
They're like, this is good. And we were like, Crystal was happy, of course. They're like, oh, this is exciting, getting something back to the person. Like, I'm sure this ruined this person's week. They're like, oh, God, I
Yeah.
lost my wallet. I have to cancel my credit card.
It's like when an old man finds a wedding ring on a beach.
You know,
You know what I mean? It's that exciting.
And then you return it back to the owner. But
Yeah.
the problem is with the wallet, it has the ID, so you can get it back to the person.
Yeah.
So, and it's a good feeling getting like something like a wallet or something someone's lost.
go through it?
To
Do you
get
look
it
at
back.
the people's cards?
No, to get it back to the person. And I'm like, most people are wired like that. Most people, if they find that wallet, they don't like. Their first thought isn't let me steal everything inside and use
Not everything, but I might take the cash out.
No,
Are we doing an
you
honesty
wouldn't.
show,
Yeah,
or-
you wouldn't.
I might. How much
90
cash? How much cash is it?
Yeah.
If it's like $3, I
No,
might take the
let's say
$3
like
out.
$48. You're leaving
that's
it in
close
there.
to 50.
You definitely counted too.
Yeah, $50.
48 sounds like you had the thought.
48 in Sanford. That's some food.
And then I made me think, and I forgot about this, but when we were doing that anniversary hike with Crystal at Hontoon Island or whatever, Max found a person's credit card on the trail, right? It was just laying on the
my God.
grass on the trail.
Guy
So,
was ordering Pornhub as he was walking through the woods.
so Max found it. He's like, oh, I found this credit card. I'm like, oh, we'll bring it back to the office, And then we're
Or was it one of those Trump white privilege cards I've seen floating around that everybody thinks are funny?
And then we got, and on the trail, like close, like these people all got all the way back to the front, and then realized they lost their credit card and started walking back. We ran into them on the trail, and they asked us like, "Did you find a credit card?" And then Max was like, "Oh yeah, I found it." And they're like, "Oh, thank you so much." And like
Oh, wow.
which is weird. They were walking like it was miles back in there, and like you were gonna walk back miles to find a credit card. Like just fucking cancel that shit.
Yeah.
They send you a new one in like 24 hours.
You really need to get your steps in.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Right? Like, who goes back for a credit
Some
card?
people worry about it, though. I would. I'd freak out a little bit. I'm like, oh,
They're buying everything.
No, but as soon as you realize it's gone, and they give you,
do you know how expensive sunscreen is?
they just cancel the credit card and they send you a new one. It's weird that you went back and looked for it, but there was,
Max was a hero. How good did he feel?
and he felt great, and that's the feeling that most humans get.
100%. The only reason why that isn't more on the forefront is because the bad news is that it's like boring. It's like expected.
Yeah.
And no one, it gets caught up in the loss, but couldn't agree more. There's way more good than bad, but it's really fun to focus on the bad.
So then what is that, though?
Okay.
Why do we do that?
I have a theory.
What are we? Our
That's so
initial
weird.
thought is like, oh, I'll never get it back. Someone's stealing my credit cards. Instead of like, your initial thought is someone will find it and give it back. That is the more likely thing.
So who's the culprit on the negativity?
It's ourselves.
So
Social media.
There's a theory that I remember hearing. I literally said this on the last episode of Good Sauce with my wife, of saying I once was told that if it bleeds, it leads, right? Media companies know this, news stories, news agencies know this, is that if you have a story about something, bad, be on the lookout. It's going to do a lot better than the story about 4 brand new pandas were just born.
Yeah.
Or
fucking hate pandas.
good news versus bad news.
Yeah.
But the reason why I remember being told this, and to be honest with you, I don't know how true it is, but it makes so much sense to me that I just simply now believe it. It's our tribal, caveman around the fire of that we actually do tend to focus and pay attention to the bad to protect ourselves more so. Like a bad news story does more for us to better ourselves than a good news story. Because now we go like, oh, I'm not touching that.
Danger, yeah.
Danger.
It's our brains are wired. Like, that's why we see faces and clouds and shit. We've evolved to put together a face.
Yes.
If we run away, that could be something that could kill us. And so just automatically seeing faces will keep us alive. So if the bushes are rustling,
Don't
run.
come a knocking.
Yes.
90% of the time it's nothing. But the people that ran lived and then spread that DNA.
If the house is a rockin', don't come knocking. That's what it was.
My friend is a rockin' red hair. She was so hot. That mom.
Yeah. But that's where our own brains.
I remember hearing that and then going, huh, and then looking around for a while going like, yeah, that kind of seems to be, unfortunately, now that that information and that theory is out there, I'm pretty sure that the powerful entities, on the planet also know that, and they are taking advantage of that. There's this weird balance of, is this too far for, are we going, is this ethically right just to get a click? Yeah, then that argument starts to be happening because that is taking advantage of the primal be on the lookout for danger that I think human beings innately have from the get-go.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Sometimes without a full-grown hip either.
Well, the chat room saying ethics in media, and it's like, yeah, that used to be something they taught.
It was
the
a big thing.
The reason Andrea got out of working at WESH and writing news stories online was because of some of the way that they would flip the idea. And what I mean by that is it's like you can only write so many stories about Casey Anthony and Kaylee Anthony's horrible death. So they would almost like task her with like figuring out new ways of telling that same story.
Because we
which
need
is
to
kind of what you're talking about, right?
Yeah,
It's like we already know.
It's a business.
And that's when
and it's gross.
That's when it gets malicious.
Yeah.
There should be a story reporting about the Casey Anthony, event. But there is such a thing, going back to the nature of the word two with 2 O's, there is such a thing as too much, in my opinion. And I think a lot of people maybe aren't aware of maybe that's what's happening. And then they kind of get sucked up into the vacuum of a rage machine. But we're always in pursuit of that balance of not too much. You don't want to be too dumb, but I've also met some people that are a little too smart. Where there's an argument for everything, and then next thing they know, that life just blew right past. But they were following rules, and you didn't get to experience as much as you could.
Can we train our brains to not be so worried about that? Like, no matter what I tell Crystal, she's always going to be worried about something that's unlikely. And I'm constantly like, that is unlikely, and it doesn't matter. I worry about it.
Supposedly you can through neuroplasticity. No, I'm serious. That's what my therapist says.
It seems like it's ruining people's enjoyment of life, being constantly worried about shit that statistically is unlikely.
I'm getting better at it, though.
Imagine worrying every day that your kid's going to get kidnapped and sold into sex trafficking.
I know those people.
Like, every day you worry about that?
Yeah.
That's unlikely. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, I worry every day. Imagine every day worrying about a sinkhole. Crystal worries about our house getting sucked in by a sinkhole. Yeah. And I'm like, what the hell are you thinking about?
Castleberry is filled with
like all these crazy fears that are unlikely to happen.
It just popped in my head. We were talking about the whole bad news stories versus good news stories, the ethics of media, like you should report on it, but there's also that line that gets crossed of like, listen, we've already reported on it, but then the director is going like, but it's doing great. We need more.
Yeah.
Make shit up, figure it out.
Because my bosses are telling me we need better ratings. This is a business.
Yeah.
And I understand that. Of course it is.
And I'll walk the plank here as best as I can, but I always thought this was interesting, right? And sometimes I think both things can be true. I'm going to bring up somebody that you guys are very connected to now for the rest of your program, which is Bob Saget.
Oh, yeah, we killed him.
Sorry, Saget.
Yeah. I didn't know he was going to fall and hit his head.
But one thing that I remember from that week was, and if I remember correctly, one of the last interviews, if not the last interview.
Well, we were not the last interview, but somehow down the line, it got reported that we were the last interview.
Well, Saget tweeted it out. So
Yeah.
then the media just looked at what was his last tweet and was like, oh, this is my last interview. So he just didn't tweet out his actual last interview.
So we actually stole the coverage from someone that it would have really mattered to them, and it made that person mad. And that's great to me. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it was funny.
It makes me very happy.
But also, it showed us how the media works.
That's exactly where I was going with that, 100%, because man, no one, all of a sudden it came pretty apparent that, because it happened here in Orlando, I know you guys and seen what it spun off into, and I just hit me like, dude, I don't think anybody even knows this guy. Of all these media things that are now, it was weird to see media agencies just completely exploit a life. Not saying that not calling you guys that.
Oh yeah, no,
but
we
just
thought
like
about it
you
because
guys saw that front row. I
We
would
did an
assume.
interview that was the weirdest. Remember that one we did?
We did extra, a bunch of shit, and it all comes down from TMZ. But I remember telling the producer, like, listen, we interviewed him, but you plugged a gig. We interview hundreds of comedians. You know, it's like we don't have anything to share. And they're like,
did he mention anything about COVID?
Was he coughing? Was he really? And then we're like, no, he did mention having COVID before. And they're like, oh yeah. Just say that, or whatever. You know, it doesn't even matter if you know anything. Just we'll
did
talk
he
about
look
it.
like he was fall prone?
Yeah.
But this is they were speculating that it was like that it was COVID or whatever at that time. And
Did
then
you?
but
We got
it didn't
this
even
one.
matter
This was
to
a
them.
weird one we got. Had he
It's like,
been
what are we-
vaccinated?
They're
We
like,
got some of those.
What are we gonna add? We're fucking. You know, it's like what are you gonna? What information are you gonna get from us? And it doesn't even matter. There's like we have this time to fill. And this is the story, and we gotta interview someone, and you're it. And then me and Daniel did for a second. We're like, this is cheesy. But then
We started asking around to friends that are in entertainment, and they're like, look,
this is how it works.
Everyone knows who you are and how you approach things. It's not a bad thing to necessarily take the meeting or take the publicity. Just be respectful, and we did. We were.
Yeah,
we were. We didn't let him do anything weird. We didn't let him insinuate that he'd been vaccinated and he died of COVID. We're like, no, like he didn't say. We told the truth.
But now that I look back,
we should have lied. We should have lied
because that's what gets you popular.
Yeah.
Like we didn't do anything, and guess what? It did nothing. Like if
it would have been more memorable had we said, he went on and on about this vaccination, and he was talking about how he felt weird and he felt weak.
Yeah.
He said he found a scroll.
It was spreading misinformation because that would have.
He texted me one code, but he said there were 3 others to open the vault.
and
I had to pick this right grail. I think I chose the wrong cup.
We could have gone crazy, but we didn't.
But the weird fucked up thing is, like, if you did do something super disrespectful, it would have actually done better for us, which is fucked up.
It is.
Yeah, because
and
look at where we're at now.
And that's what I just wish that also listeners knew, because like getting involved with the station and all of that, I had my interpretation of what it was going to be like, and then coming out onto the other side, like it almost feels like this is gonna do I feel like this to be true? Yeah, sure, fuck, I'll shoot it out. I think if something is so successful, like Uber, if you are in the top 1% of anything in the media, there's going to be even more than top 1%. I'm not considering you guys in this like, I'm talking.
We're
you know,
not top 1%.
Those
Don't feel
corporate.
bad
the
for-
other side of that.
Those corporate media things, like you're going to have to exploit people to keep the competition up to be top dog. You will have to be malicious.
The only way to compete.
And I then see the audience now experiencing it on the other side, being part of the media for 7 years. I just wish that the audience had the opportunity to also be part of the media, to understand that that's what they're doing, that they are putting sometimes a little too much blood in the water. But I don't think the average person who looks at on the internet is thinking about
We
if it
do
bleeds,
because
it
we're
leads,
in
or
it.
the tribe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But here's the fucked up part. They want it.
Yes.
And that's the other side of it, that is that they're looking, because that is a spike in fear. That's a spike in chemicals. So it's like you're searching for
You
it.
keep
So-
reading.
So it's not even really the media's fault, because if I was,
Yeah.
media, I'd be like, they want it.
Yeah,
they want
no,
the fear.
You're chasing the chemicals. You're addicted to the dump.
I
Yeah.
think both parties are.
They wanted the anger in politics. People that get so
Yes.
fired up, and you're like, why are you getting so mad? What are you doing? And it's like, oh, they want it. It's a chemical dump. It's your brain searches for it. You want anger.
It's the same thing you chase
happiness.
when you scream, when you destroy something, when you masturbate, when you pour a beer.
You want to look at a story.
You're
You're like,
chasing that chemical, that dump, man. Like you smash a TV with a sledgehammer. It's the same as coming in your pants.
I'm
It's
just
like-
laughing so hard from destroy to masturbate.
Yeah, that is my autobiography. Like,
you know
that's all those feelings. I chase those chemicals, man.
the weirdest thing to me is when because I have a unique relationship with social media in the fact, especially Facebook, and I'll explain. I have a bunch of strangers on my Facebook that I don't know.
Yeah.
Right, like because of the radio.
Potential handyman.
No, like, and so I see these people like posts, and they are, I imagine most of their followers are friends and family, like most people on Facebook, right? Like it's a rarity to have like thousands and thousands of strangers, right? And like some people I know, listeners, but I'm saying like a lot of them was when Facebook first started, we told everybody, hey, follow me, because it was a radio thing. We were like a radio promotion, right? So I see all these random posts and people, and I recognize some people that post more than others, but I don't know them, but they're posting like angry things like, look what this person did, and so mad on the political, right? And then I always look at it, I'm like, who are you talking to? Your friends and family. Like,
Well,
you're
they don't
screaming,
understand how it works.
you're putting it out there. I understand it's like venting, but it's all your friends and family.
No, you
So
don't think
what-
that, though. No,
I know.
I
What
don't
is
know.
it?
You don't know that. Like, I think you think when you're putting it out there that you're just as powerful as any other media form.
You're doing your part.
Yeah.
I know a lot
Yeah.
of people have that.
You don't know how the algorithm works. Neither do I, but I a little bit more than that guy. But I guarantee you that guy thinks a lot of people are seeing that.
But in
So
Facebook, it's not strangers that ever see your news feed, right? It's only people that follow you.
But it doesn't matter. They don't know that. Like these people don't understand. They don't even know how did the code get written to make the thing. It's just lights on a screen. They're dumb as fuck.
Yeah,
No, it's not even you're dumb, but
I'll disagree there. It's that I can't call them dumb as fuck. Older people that are just didn't have the internet in those formative years. If anything, I feel bad. Like
these are
it's-
people my age or younger. They're screaming something on Facebook, yelling, and I'm like, it's weird because only your friends and family.
But they don't know that. Yeah.
Well, why don't you know it?
But even then,
because they don't know how the algorithm works. They don't know like what you're referencing on Facebook. Like there are ways to go in and I can write a post and I can send it to everyone. I can send it to just my friends. I can send it to just acquaintances. There are ways to do that. They don't know any of that.
And if it was friends and family, that's almost even better. Like they're probably going to agree. And what feels great when I go, this is how I feel, and then you have somebody going like, me too.
Yeah, give me the bias.
And
you're looking for the
it snowballs into it. I don't know. I just really wish that that audience. I wish all listeners and audience members could be part of the media to go, okay. That's a little bit more of the bread and butter, is that there is a balance to it. There is such a thing as taking advantage, being that malicious news story just over and over. Reword it. We need more clicks. Keep it out into circulation because it's still working. They have the numbers. But there's also, on the flip side of it, journalism is one of the most needed things I think right now society and the world needs. And it's honestly sad to see that it's getting ripped on and hated on. It is so incredibly important that journalists are comfortable on doing their job. It's just the balance of it goes both ways, because you don't want that writer taking advantage of Bob Saget or taking advantage of
a person's death,
a
human being's death.
A human being's death.
And they absolutely do.
But but it's like kind of like I and to make an argument for them too. It's like I don't think they look at it like they're taking advantage of it. They're reporting on it in a way they're supposed to for their business. And that's it's kind of like, I guess we all just realize all this news and everything we people saying, put in quotes, news or whatever it is, it's a business, and they get paid by how many people are looking at it.
Yeah.
And because of that, because it's advertising, then they are skewing everything to be the most entertaining, because that's their business. If they didn't do that, they would be out of business.
Yeah, it changes the directive.
And to be that top dog, I guess I wish everyone would know that to be that top dog, that zenith, you're gonna be stepping on some throats. I've never.
Like Brad Pitt does with his kids.
The people with the least amount of morals are the best at business.
They are the best at business.
In the media world. And then
we got to get going here soon, because I'm gassing out.
No, God, sorry.
I'm sorry to do it that way, but we are continuing, and I got to get home.
I'm having fun with you, Ross. I appreciate you.
Please take it as a compliment. Don't.
I will always be
we
here.
usually don't go this
I'll
long,
light a candle for the hit, too,
I would
man.
love to go longer, but I am starting to. I need to take a shit, and I don't want to do it here.
So we got new shows all next week.
Yep.
We're doing some interesting shows, some different shows.
Some surprises.
That'll be all next week on a corporate time.
It's really good.
Of course, we have the Tom and Dan Go to Gatorland on a Friday. I got a new BDM show this Monday with Jim Colbert, which is really funny. So all new shows next week for spring
Love me
break.
some James.
We hope you guys have a great spring break. Ross, thanks so much.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We appreciate you doing this. If you, I'd love to ask you to do it again.
Always.
Beautiful.
Let me know.
All right,
Subscribe to Ross's podcast, Good Sauce with Ross and Joel. It's really funny. Follow him on social media.
Yep.
He's really talented.
Support your local creatives like Joel and Ross and the cool stuff that they do.
We have a blast.
And Daniel, thanks for coming back after
I'm
hip
not
surgery.
Dead. I'm not dead.
And pushing through it.
No, it's fine. It's hey, my pleasure. I'm glad everything worked out. And guys, on that note, we will see you Monday.